Hi everyone. Yeah, well, yes, a few days and I'm back again. Yes, for another live stream, and we seem to have kept pretty much on schedule. It's taken a bit of time to set up, but we'll hopefully be joined by Knowlsy and Sam. I managed to get Facebook up and running today before I started the live stream. So just going to get the link sent to them now, and they should be able to join us. While I'm just waiting for that, I will I'd just like to talk about a quick purchase, something I picked up today. And it is, as I mentioned before, just quickly, a couple of weeks ago, I picked up Digimon Tamers, Digimon Season 3, and I knew exactly what was going to happen. Is that because it's getting close to Christmas, just as 2 years ago, the box sets of Digimon Adventure 1 and 2 were practically released within weeks of each other. I don't know why. It's been nearly 2 years since they came out, and they decided to go ahead with the following 2 seasons. I don't know why it's been that long, because I kept my eye open for Tamers for so long. I even asked about it. I've even asked about it in HMV several times, and they've got no confirmation. But so yes, I've got Digimon Tamers, which I've rewatched them today for a cheaper price, and it was a bit cheaper for me because I got my HMV points. I picked up for $24.99. Digimon Frontier on DVD, Season 4. And I haven't been able to watch it yet. After tonight, I might sit down and just watch a few episodes, because I'm not as familiar with this series as I am with the other 3. With the first 3, I remember the first 3 very well. Let's just see if... Right, hopefully now we should be able to get the messages up, and then I can get this blasted link sent. Right. Should be able to get this now to John. Start with John and then to Sam. Come on, Facebook. Where are you? Yeah. Right, I'm just going to have to wait a few minutes to get it on. Yeah, so just as I was saying, this, I'm looking forward to watching this. I know kind of bits of the basic storyline about the whatever they're called, the trainers, kind of, actually becoming Digimon themselves. That's really all. I only ever watched the first few episodes a few years ago, but I never got to see it on TV because the Digimon was originally cancelled on Jetix before this had a chance to air back in sort of the early 2000s. Saying that now that I've been able to get the full box set, I'll be able to sit and watch it. So yeah. All right now. Come on. This is not funny. I should actually be able. Maybe I can send it. Try through emails. See if we can get John. Yeah. Yeah, I was just having some issue. I'm just having a little issue with Facebook at the moment. But... Come on. Oh, God, what is wrong with me? Why is everything so slow today? Right, yes, we finally got the link through Facebook. Right, now I should have it as well. Yes, finally done. All right, guys. Yep, it's on now. You got it now on Facebook. So yes, you'll finally sort of get down to it after all that. Oh.
Man.
Hello. Are you all right?
Aye, not bad, not bad. It's a bit weird me being on here and Sam being on before me.
Yeah, I think yeah. I've just sent him the links.
I've not heard from him today, to be honest. So
yeah,
I did mention.
He said he might come on.
Oh, right.
Pardon?
Okay. No, like I said, I texted him about it.
Maybe he's not called into work or something to do a cover shift or something like that.
No, he wouldn't have done. He only works up to 6 o'clock and up to 6:30, I think. So no, he works 6:30, I think. Whenever his store I think closes, so he should be home and everything. He's
probably, they don't do that late.
Well, he's Sam. You see, he's probably either he's probably watching something that he maybe just got in the mail today, or just doing something. Well, I noticed.
Yeah, so how have you?
Sorry?
Pardon?
No, you go first. You were saying something. Sorry.
I was just asking, how have you been the past few days?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. Just doing the normal. Applying for jobs.
Yeah.
All that jazz, and that's pretty much all I've been doing, really. What have you been doing with yourself last couple of days?
I went to my maths class this morning and had a look, and then had a look round just west of town. Went to Pizza Hut, had the buffet, and I picked up Digimon Frontier box set.
Good. Yeah, that's a series I've not watched much of. I think I've only watched maybe the first 5 episodes of it.
Yeah, same here. I only watched the first few episodes before. It's strange because not last year, but the year before was the year that Season 1 and Adventure 1 and 2 came out in the UK. And then it's been nearly 2 years, and suddenly Tamers and this one come out within weeks of each other. So I don't get what's going on there, but
well, I don't think it's a coincidence or anything. It's just well, it could be a coincidence or what, but I don't know. It's just I think what they've done is they probably wanted Tamers and Frontier out before Christmas, so they probably kind of got the release within about a month of each other's release. So
yeah,
I mean, it's probably a planned thing to try and get them out before Christmas, because there's a lot of. The thing is with Digimon is, I don't know how popular it will be with like kids now. I know the last Digimon series, which is well, in English it's known as Digimon Fusion. But it's not in Japan. It's Cross Wars. But anyway, where we know it as Fusion, and there's 3 seasons of Fusion. They've dubbed the first 2. Season 1 and 2 have both aired on TV through Nickelodeon, because Nickelodeon was airing it. And then season 3, which is the real big one, which was another anniversary episode, which had anniversary season, because it had there was a big there was an episode where Ty, Davis, pretty much all the main characters from every series they've done all appeared.
I've seen bits of that. Because you got Ty, Dave, Kato, and the leader from leader from the other ones. I don't really know much about them. Yeah,
so pretty much every series they've done, all the main characters come back. It was some sort of time travel temporal thing, what they all got sucked into, and they all kind of ended up in this alternate reality together or something.
Yeah, because in Tamers, Adventure is actually a merchandise.
Yeah.
So
I've no idea how long Sam's going to be. I mean, we're at 10, just gone 10 now, but I don't think he'll be going to bed. But be surprised if he is going to bed, because he's a bit of a night owl, Sam, sometimes.
Yeah. Well, I know he works. So
I know. Carl was watching. He commented on the live chat, tumbleweed. So I don't know if he's watching us or if he's wanting to come on. I don't know.
If Carl wants to come on, I'll send him a link just in case. If he wants to, he can.
He hasn't said anything for a little bit, but it was probably just kind of clicking about. But
yeah, I mean, he can have it if he can come on if he wants to.
There's only one watcher, but I think it's me, so I don't think Carl's currently watching at the moment.
Yeah. Do you prefer Digimon as a series to Pokemon, the series, really? Or
just a sec, isn't it? There we go.
yeah.
Right. Basically, well, to be honest, like I said, Digimon obviously came out like I think about nearly. I don't think it was a full year, but I think it aired. The anime aired maybe about 5 or 6 months before Pokemon aired in the UK. Give or take a year between each other. But personally, for me, I think I love the original Pokemon as well as Digimon, but I think my heart desire, or my heart mainly goes with Digimon itself, because I think. I mean, personally, even though Digimon and Pokemon are essentially exactly the same concept, the difference is that the only differences between them is that the Pokemon have to live in the Pokeballs.
Yeah.
With the abbreviation of Pocket Monster, because that's what Pokemon means, Pocket Monster.
Yeah.
So it's based on the whole.
That's the title in Japan, isn't it? Pocket Monsters.
Yeah. Because the name Pocket Monster is the abbreviation to Pocket Monsters, and Digimon is obviously Digital Monsters, so it's kind of just a similar abbreviation there. But it's they're basically they're both based on the same principal point, same idea.
Yeah.
But the differences between them really.
Difference to me, I felt that Digimon had more of a continuing story, and has really good character development in it. Whilst with Pokemon, we don't know. We seem to be in the same time. Well, we still seem there's not been much in the way of development. I mean, like the characters never seem to age in it. So.
No, I think.
I know there are theories about why. I've heard some of the theories about why Ash potentially doesn't age.
Well, I think the idea is with Pokemon, why Ash hasn't aged. Well, I think he has aged a little bit, but I think there's like only there's a video on YouTube. I can't remember who the YouTuber is now, but there's a YouTuber that kind of put the whole timeline, everything in continuity. And he kind of come up with that he hasn't aged much. He has aged. Well, he is older than he is when he first sets out in the. He is a little bit older when he first set out in the Indigo League. But I think this whole journey is kind of like something stupid, like everything that happens, even the movies and everything. I think it happens within the first couple of years of him being a trainer. So I think. Yeah. I think that the theory is that he is actually about a year or two older than he was when he set out, because when he started, I think he was 10. I think he was 10 or 11 years old.
Yeah, he was, yeah. He's 10, yeah. He says when he's 10, they get the Pokemon license.
Yeah. So... So yeah, it was 10 years old when he first started his journey in Indigo League. So I think now he's a bit older. I think he's a little bit older. But yeah, I mean, getting back to the question, what you said about, getting back to the thing that you said about Digimon, that Digimon seems to have a bit more of a rounded progression with its characters. Where
it does. I remember Digimon airing on Fox Kids in the UK. I think it aired on Fox Kids after Pokemon aired. Because Pokemon originally, its digital channel was Sky One.
I don't know. I never watched it.
That's what I seem to remember.
I don't remember it going on Sky One. I had Sky.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I had Sky probably about a year before Digimon aired. I think we first got Sky in about 95, 90, maybe about 96, 95, 96. And I remember on normal TV, obviously growing up with Mighty Morphin Power Rangers and Beast Wars and all that lot, and Beetleborgs and that, when it was been showing on GMTV. But then
I remember that as well.
And then we got Sky, and then I remember Medabots, Shaman King, Digimon, Digimon Adventure.
That was all on Fox Kids.
Yeah, basically Fox Kids aired Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, but it's a bit weird because I remember it on terrestrial telly, normal TV, airing, because GMTV seemed to have, they had the kids block, so they showed Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Yeah, the GMTV Saturday,
yeah. But Fox Kids was the official channel that aired the Power Rangers stuff back in the 90s, as well as
it was. I mean,
a lot of other things.
Yeah, I got Sky. I think I got Sky in late 1999, and at that time, Power Rangers in Space was still airing on it.
Yeah.
Obviously, Power Rangers in Space was the series.
Yeah, that was
the series. It's 1998 series.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't know what the I don't know. I mean, I do know that Digimon as a concept was before it predates, give or take, about, I think it's about 6 months older or something like that. I think there's only maybe about 6 months to a year gap between Digimon and Pokemon's conception originally.
Yeah. Well, what I seem to remember is I remember Pokemon airing first, and then it was obviously it's hype, and then when Digimon came out first, it wasn't so popular because people said, "Oh, it's just a rip off of Pokemon," but to them they don't know about its origins, which proves it's not a rip off.
I think Digimon, later on did get aired. I didn't watch it on other channels. I think Digimon did get aired on different channels originally.
Yeah, I remember it on Fox Kids. And the strange thing is, you remember the Surveillance Masked Rider?
Yeah.
When I first saw Digimon on Fox Kids, the first thing I recognised was the stop music in the Digimon, the stop music, because it was recycled from the Masked Rider series. Did you remember that? That they had a lot of the stop.
Yeah, I remember Masked Rider. Definitely. I can't really remember much about it, to be honest. I remember like the opening and the idea of it, but
yeah, if you watch some episodes again, you'll realize a lot of the stop music from the dubbed version of Digimon is actually used in Masked Rider, and I thought for me that was quite odd. Oh.
That's me. I'm just trying to get in contact with Sam with the link, just so that he's got it from.
Oh, is he back on Messenger?
Sorry?
Is he back on Messenger, or?
I've no idea. There's only Messenger or text I can get in contact with him, but I've heard nothing from him at all.
Well, if he's busy, he's busy. I mean, I don't mind. He can come on when he wants. If he's.
I don't really think he's busy. It's Sam we're talking about here.
I sent him a text. I sent him a message this morning. He said he'd be on, but
Well, all I can think of is that maybe he's got up about half an hour too early, and he's got really tired, and he's probably bobbing off at his computer. But that's all I can think of.
Have you bought anything new recently, or?
No, no, I haven't really bought much, really. I think the last thing I bought was, a couple of days ago, I got a horror film off of Amazon. That was the latest thing I managed to pick up. It was only about £5 something, like just about £5.50 or something like that with altogether. So I got the original Japanese The Grudge film. So I got that. That's the only thing I bought recently. But, well, on behalf of my dad, I bought my birthday present today because I thought, well, I'll buy it and my dad will pay me back the money. Because obviously it's all connected to, because it's through Amazon, it's all connected through my bank account and everything. So, I've bought I bought for myself my birthday, even it's off my dad. He's putting the money towards it. But I've got the classic Nintendo, the NES Classic.
Oh, NES.
Yeah, the NES Classic.
Yeah, I've got one. They're really good. They are.
Yeah,
I've got the NES and the SNES.
Yeah,
I think before I'd look into this classic PlayStation, I probably want to get the classic N64 first when that comes out.
Well, yeah. I mean, well, I'm looking at possibly I'm thinking about the PlayStation Classic as well. I've had a word with my dad, and I said, well, how about maybe one and the other, kind of like one for my birthday and one for Christmas? Because obviously the PlayStation Classic comes out on the 3rd of December. That's its release date in the UK anyway. It's supposed to be North America's release date as well. So give it to between the 3rd and the 5th of December, it's supposed to be released. So I'm thinking of pre-ordering one well in advance, so that I'm thinking about doing that, and yeah, but yeah. So I've got my birthday present off my dad sorted out. So I've got myself the classic SNES Mini. I thought to get not the SNES, the NES. I thought to get the NES first because I thought I'll get that and try to see what it's like because it's got 30 games on it. And I thought, well,
yeah,
I think 30 games sounds a bit more plausible. I think sounds a bit better to have first off, and plus the NES has a lot more.
Sega, if you can get the classic Sega one, that has 80 games, and you can also put in your cartridges as well.
Yeah, that's another one.
The Sega Mega Drive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've got one of those. I got one of those for my birthday a couple of years. I bought it myself for my birthday, and yeah, I think the Sega one's definitely the Mega Drive one was really good. I think there's an Atari one. Yeah, there's the NES and the SNES. Obviously, the N64 is coming, and there's the PlayStation.
Yeah, I don't think I can't remember, but I know they haven't released an Atari they haven't released an Atari Mini. I think what they've released is they've released like a handheld console, like a handheld with some of the classic games inbuilt in it. So, but they've gone for a more handheld thing rather than an actual home plug-in console. But they have released a new system. It is a gaming system, but I can't remember what it's called now. But it's Atari, for the first time in about 20 odd years or something, they finally released a brand new product that was on something on Kickstarter or something like that. Not something like Kickstarter. It was like, and it got funding, and it's actually officially released as of this year. But I can't remember what they call it. But yeah, but I've heard rumours Atari are considering coming back and bringing a new console and start producing games again. I hope they do because I'd love to see Atari come back. I mean, I know Atari as a company is still there, but I think they're
still there.
Yeah, but they're more or less in like computer hardware and software now. They don't really do game development anymore, but I think they're slowly thinking of coming back to the roots, or coming back to.
I heard that the same rumor about Sega as well. I mean, I know they still do game design, they still make games, but I heard rumors that they also want to come back with a new console.
Yeah, well, I've been hearing a lot of stuff about like classic game companies coming back and everything. I've heard a lot of things. There's also some other companies that have not really. But basically, I've heard there's a few different consoles either in concept or kind of up on like Kickstarter or Indiegogo. I think there's another site that's similar. I mean, I'm interested in. I've always been a fan of consoles. I've always been a console gamer. Yeah. Okay. I know games. Obviously, the whole concept. Without a computer or a PC, you won't have games to begin with because it's all coded.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
It's all
thing about PC. the whole thing about PC gaming is you have to make sure that your computer's like compatible with all your games and kind of thing.
Exactly.
I think that's just more trouble than it's worth.
Yeah, I don't like it either. I mean, the problem is, okay, I get the idea. They are developed, they are designed, they are created using a PC. But these people creating these games on PC have an insanely powerful bloody unit, insanely powerful processors, graphic cards, everything in order to make these games. Maybe, well, in the past, they would have had maybe a little bit more. Well, in the past, when games were kind of coming out, they were very, very basic. There was something like, I don't think there were anything more than about maybe 15 megabytes or something like that. I think some of the first games were something like 10, 15 megabytes of data on like a floppy disk or something like that. But no, it's just like, I don't know, it's just... I mean, okay, I mean, I respect, I respect PC, and I understand that's where they're concepted from, as the made of a group of people on computers doing certain aspects of the game development. But it's just, for me, I've always been much more. I've always enjoyed the console experience, because, like you said, with a computer, you have to make sure you have an up-to-date graphics card. You have to make sure you have an up-to-date processing speed. Sometimes you have to make sure you have all the parts necessary for you to play the brand new games that are coming out within the last couple of years. You need a very, very, very powerful computer in order to play a lot of these games. And the beautiful thing of a console is, and PC gamers, PC purists, I call them. Yeah, so PC purists and everything, I'm like, okay, it's their thing. If they want to play games on a PC, they can do. We've got nothing against that. But I don't like it when they start barking orders like Sam does in the past, where he's like, PC, games won't be anything without PC. And I'm like, yeah, I get that. But the whole idea is that you want to put in a game, you don't have to buy a flipping graphics card and this, that, and the other to go along with it to play the fucking thing. Excuse the French.
Yeah, I think some of the things is people who are really used to like the keyboard and stuff, and maybe they get the hang of using the controller. I mean, using the controller is not difficult, but when I got my first PlayStation, I was 9. I got it for my 9th birthday, and I was like, oh god, I absolutely love this. Holding this controller in my hands.
Yeah, I've always been a big fan of the whole home gaming, home held console gaming rather than anything else. I'm just ringing Sam, see if I can get hold of him.
That's all right. Yeah.
Hello, Moto. How are you, man? Oh shit. Not bad. I'm just letting you know I'm actually talking with Lawrence at the moment. I don't know if you want to pop on. Well, we sent you the links and everything, but we've been on now for the past half an hour. I've been on with him for about half an hour. Right, okay. Well, if you want to pop on, me and Lawrence have both sent you the links, so just pop on when you can, if you want to. All right then, man. No problem. Right, mate. Sam's coming on. He wasn't online, so he didn't see you send the link.
That's all right.
So he's coming on in about 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, so sorry, what was I saying? We're talking about consoles, wasn't we? Yeah. Well, like I say, I know Sam's going to get on. As soon as Sam hears about consoles and PC debate, Sam's going to go like ape out of hell, or should I call it? It really is. But the whole
Is that
idea.
an energy drink you got there?
Yeah. Yeah, I got a Relentless energy drink.
I normally go for just the sugar-free Monster now, because with the amount of caffeine that's in them, there's so much sugar in them. I like the Diet Monster or Relentless.
No, it's all right. I mean, I don't drink them that often. It's just my dad was away for a couple of days, and I just thought, oh, I'll just pick up a pack of 4, and I've just kind of split them up over a couple of days, really. And I just thought, I'll just have a couple.
Yeah, the house to yourself.
Yeah, my dad back on Monday. Yeah, my dad on Monday about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. He went with a friend of his. Can't remember where he went, but he went on the ferry somewhere and with a mate of his, and he got back earlier this morning.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
Yeah. So I had the house to myself pretty much for 2 days.
Oh yeah, it's good to have the place to yourself, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it was good. I mean, like, I managed with my dad being away. I know it sounds horrible to say that. Well, my dad kind of like away and everything. But I've managed to kind of get caught up on some TV, and I've been watching a series called Young Justice at the moment, a DC series.
I've heard about that. I've not watched it.
Yeah, well, Young Justice. It's pretty much all. It's pretty much the Young Justice. It's like the next generation of the Justice League. And what it is, the whole idea, it's kind of the sidekicks of all the main characters that get brought together as like a little team, like a backup team in a way. So you've got Robin, which is the original Robin. What's his name? Dick Grayson.
Yeah.
So you got Dick Grayson, the original Robin, and then you've got Aqualad, which is obviously Aquaman's apprentice. You've got Artemis, which is the Green Arrow's apprentice. You've got Kid Flash, which is obviously the Flash's apprentice. I think it's one of his cousins or something like that. I don't know. And then you've got, who else is in it? You've got Miss Martian, who's obviously John Jones or Mr. Martian or whatever, his niece or something. And you've got Superboy, which is a clone of actual Superman. So it's just those characters kind of going about things and kind of supporting and going on missions and trying to prove themselves if they're good enough to be Justice League material and that in the future. So I've currently finished all of season 1, and I'm currently on season 2 at the moment. And season 2 there's a good 5-year gap between season 1 and 2. Within 5 years, they've actually taken on like an extra 3 or 4 different people, different characters. Speaking
of, I know that talking about the Lego topic isn't really relevant here, but I've got the new Lego DC Supervillains game. But yeah, one of my guilty pleasures is I like Lego games, and it comes with this alternate version of the Justice League called the Ultra, and there's like Ultimate Man or something, and like an evil version of the Justice League come from an alternate universe.
Yeah, well, I don't mind. I like some of the. I've not played many of the Lego games. I think I've played in the past. I think I've played maybe 1 or 2 different ones, and I think I played a Star Wars one.
Yeah, the first one I had, the first really big one was Lego Star Wars, the second trilogy Lego Star Wars for PS2. And then I think a couple of years later, they brought out Lego Star Wars, the original trilogy, and then it started to expand into other franchises.
Yeah, I do. I enjoy I enjoy Lego. I mean, like I said, I've not really played many of the games, to be honest. I mean, like I love the Lego movie that they brought out a few years ago, and the Batman Lego movie. I love those two films, and I can't wait for the Lego movie 2, which is for next year.
Yeah. Did you see the Lego Ninjago movie?
I didn't. No, I didn't go to see it because I've seen like the odd episode of Lego the Ninjago stuff on TV on Cartoon Network, and I can't get into it. I find the voice acting and everything's a little bit crap and a bit ropey. For my personal opinion, anyway. But I mean, I've not watched enough of it to really forge a big opinion on it. But I've never. I mean, I don't know. I just didn't see it. I mean, I heard it was okay, but it wasn't anything like the Lego movie. I've heard it was okay, but not brilliant at the same time.
I quite enjoyed it, and the game was good. The Lego Ninjago movie game. So I've got I've got quite a few Lego games. I've got the Lego movie game, Lego Ninjago movie game, Lego Batman 3. I've got Lego Batman 3, Lego Star Wars: The Force Awakens, Lego Harry Potter complete franchises. Yeah, all of them. I've got Lego Incredibles, Lego DC Supervillains, Lego Jurassic World. I've got Lego Dimensions and Lego Worlds. Lego Worlds is like Minecraft. Have you played Minecraft before?
No, that's something I've never really got into. I've been thinking of picking it up because it's cheap now. It's pretty cheap, the game itself now.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think the whole idea of it. I mean, I get the idea. It's mainly aimed at young kids, really. But it's you can craft and you can build things, and there's like little missions, little like story arcs you can do and things. But I've never really seen the point. I've never been that type of gamer. Really, I like to kind of play like first-person shooters or arcades and things like that. Really, and platformers. I like my good platformers like Mario and that.
I'm thinking, do you plan to maybe get this new Spyro the Dragon Reignited trilogy?
I might do. Seeing as I've never played a Spyro.
Yeah, I've asked my mum for that one for Christmas. And my birthday's in January.
Oh yeah,
January 23rd.
Cool. Well, yeah. I mean, I might see about it. I mean, it's good that they're now releasing doing HD remasters of like classic games and putting them on the PS4 or Xbox or whatever. I mean, I've got the Crash Bandicoot Insane trilogy, and it's so great to see Crash Bandicoot being brought back, and they're absolutely stunning. The work they've done on it's amazing.
It is, yeah.
But no, I might see about the Spiral the Dragon games. Like I said, I've never played them, and it's the same with a few.
Yeah, I had the first one for PS1, and I had a couple of the later ones for PS2.
Yeah,
I was never as into it as badly as I was into Crash, but Crash holds a big place for me because that was the first video game. That was the first PlayStation game I ever had. Trying to think. You've been playing on your PS4 lately at all,
or? Yeah, I've been playing. At the moment, I'm currently playing a bit. I'm currently playing Spider-Man, the new Spider-Man game. So
yeah, that's been out for about nearly over a month now, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been out for a little while. It's been out for maybe it's pretty been out for maybe a couple of months now, 2 or 3 months.
Yeah, I haven't got it yet, but
I recommend it.
I've heard really good. Yeah.
Yeah, they've released a few DLCs for it as well. There's a Spider-Man and Black Cat thing that's about. I think it's like a special mission they've done as a DLC. It's not expensive. I think it's like five or £6. Just like an extra side mission with Black Cat, which is another Marvel character.
Yeah, I know she is. Isn't she actually Felicia Hardy?
I can't remember. I don't know much about Black Cat, to be honest. I know she was in the 90s Spider-Man series. Sorry?
She's meant to be like a cat burglar, isn't she?
Well, that's her MO. She's pretty much Black Cat is pretty much Catwoman. You know.
Yeah.
Pretty much like Marvel's attempt, or I don't know which studio, because the whole Marvel and DC thing, they kind of like rip off each other's main characters. Like there's a type of character in DC that's kind of like a massive rip off of there's a big obviously like Spider-Man has been knocked off by DC. Because there's an episode of Young Justice I watched, and he clung.
Yeah.
He pretty much it was Spider-Man, but his suit was massively different. But you could tell it was Spider-Man, but it wasn't Spider-Man. And he was in an episode of Young Justice that I watched on season 1, and he pretty much tries to kill somebody. He pretty much interrogates someone and then lets go of him. So he would fall to the floor, but then he was saved by Green Arrow and Artemis. So he's kind of like an evil version of Spider-Man, but it's a DC character by the looks of it. And then there's what is it? There's Marvel's got their own answer to Spider-Man, known as Apollyon, I think his name is. I think Apollyon came later. I think obviously Superman's been out since the 30s, 40s with Action Comics. And same as Batman. Batman's been out probably. I think Batman and Superman are the earliest when it comes to comic books for both sides.
Yeah, because Iron Man's kind of Marvel's equivalent to Batman, isn't he? Like Tony Stark doesn't have any powers, but he's a rich guy.
Yeah. There is a similar thing. I mean, if you look at Bruce Wayne is a bit of a party boy. You know, he's going to these functions, going to these charity auctions, and he's always swooming the ladies and things like that. And I think Batman's a bit more of a level-headed, more rounded character. And then you get Iron Man, where Tony Stark is this really awesome inventor, but he is a bit in his own head, and he's kind of he like thinking with his own. He's got a pretty much big time inflated ego, really.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I can't. I'm really looking forward to Infinity War Part 2. Let's see where it goes.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I mean, it's a big time story, big time cliffhanger that they've kind of left us on. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to say too much, but all these people saying, "Oh no, Spider-Man's dead. This person's dead. This person's dead." I'm like, you do realize there's another Spider-Man movie coming out, right? And there's going to be a third one, no doubt.
Yeah.
You do know there is going to be. You do know there's going to be more movies for 4. Well, no, not for 4. I don't think they're doing any more films for 4 unless they make 4 a female, because there's a theory that the male 4, as we all know him as, he might lose the power of his hammer, and it gets bestowed upon another character that ends up being a female. Because by the looks of it now, because of all with Captain Marvel, they're bringing in the female version of Captain Marvel now. So I'm kind of thinking that there might possibly some of the main characters that have female variants. I've got a feeling that they might do that with. I think they might replace Thor with a female Thor in the future, so they can make more movies out of Thor's character. That's probably the way they're going to go with it. But I'm looking forward to next year because obviously we've got, obviously like you said, we've got Infinity Wars Part 2. We've also got Captain Marvel next year. We've got Toy Story 4 next year. We've got. What else have we got next year? It's a big year for films next year. It really is next year. It's quite a big
Star Wars
year.
Episode 9.
That's right, yeah. Yeah. We need Sam, because Sam...
Are you going to go and see the Spider-Man film?
Yeah, I'll go and see the next Spider-Man film. And I liked Homecoming.
This animated film about this...
Oh, that
isn't
one.
this animated Miles Morales?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to see that.
That's out this year, isn't it? In December, isn't it?
It's out next month, yeah. I think it was originally supposed to be out in November, late November, but I think they pushed it back to December. But yeah, I'm going to go and see that this year. I like because it's an interesting film. It comes over as like a stop motion film, but yet at the same time, it's fully CGI, and it's kind of a very interesting animation style they've used. And I'm quite interested because you've got Spider-Man Noir in it. You've got a Japanese version of Spider-Man because you've got like different all the main characters are different animation styles. So you've got Miles Morales and Peter Parker that are saying Gwen Stacy. They are kind of the main style of what the movie's trying to come over with. But then you've got Spider-Man Noir, which is the black and grey one.
I think they have like the alternate Spider-Man, like the Scarlet Spider, and
they haven't got. I don't know if they might have a few hidden surprises they're not told us yet. But this basically, it's obviously Spider-Gwen. Spider-Gwen is obviously an alternate Spider character. So she's obviously
a clone of Gwen
Stacy. I don't know. I'll wait until Sam comes on and I'll ask him because Sam will probably know a bit more than I do. But I think Gwen Stacy or Spider-Gwen, I think she's obviously it's an alternate reality timeline, and I think she does die, but I think somebody brings her back. I think she ends up dying, but I think she comes back, or like you say, it's a clone of of Gwen Stacy, and she becomes. I don't know. I can't quite remember, but yeah. So in that new film, we've obviously got Spider-Gwen. You've got Spider-Man Noir. You've got this other one, which is the Japanese one's quite interesting. I've actually looked into that one. Because I've had no idea. I mean, I know obviously Marvel's very, very big and very, very. It's really popular in Japan. A lot of Japanese.
Yeah, kids... they even did. I mean, one of the older Tokusatsu series, they actually did do a Japanese version of Spider-Man as Tokusatsu.
Yeah,
but that's completely different from Stan Lee's character. But I think Stan Lee closed a deal with, I think it might have been Toei, for them to create their own version, and this Spider-Man, he transforms into his suit, kind of like Power Rangers, like the Henshin sequence. He comes out of his strap and sort of jumps onto his body, and he actually has a giant battle robot like a Megazord, which is called the Marveler.
Well, that makes a bit more sense for Japan because. Yeah, that kind of makes sense because the whole idea of like the superhero kind of like the powers bestowed on them through some sort of device or something.
Yeah.
Kind of makes sense really for Japan, but no, yeah, I mean, apparently this version, it's not Spider-Man. She isn't the Spider. Apparently, that the character, it's the initials. I think it's SPLR or SPR or something like that. And what it is, it's a young girl, 10-year-old girl that loses her parents. She ends up becoming an orphan or something, and then she's given. Then she ends up either, I don't know. There's like a mecha, big mecha that looks like a big giant mechanized spider, like Homo sapiens spider, which is obviously like Spider-Man, and she drives it. She drives this mecha unit that is actually Spider-Man, but it's actually instead of being Spider-Man as we know him, this version is actually a young girl piloting this big robot.
Yeah.
Very Japan. But then you've got this other one, which is
there was a Marvel character called Spider-Woman.
Yes, there is. Yeah,
I think there's still, she's Jessica Drew. Her story is different, and I know at some points I think they did have some crossovers with her and Spider-Man. I've never read a Spider-Woman comic, but I've seen bits of the old TV series. I've watched some episodes.
Yeah, it's interesting. There's different timelines and different continuities that have come into the whole. There's different timelines and different continuities that have come into it. But I mean, you've got. Oh, excuse me. I was reading about something earlier on today. There's now another black Spider-Man character, but it looks like possibly a black female Spider-Man, Spider-Woman. So it looks like you've got Miles Morales, which is an alternate version of Spider-Man. He's obviously black. But then you've got by the looks of it, looks like it's a female Spider-Woman, but she's actually a black character. I was reading about something earlier, so it looks like they've introduced a new variant recently. But yeah, so you got Miles Morales. Miles Morales is like the second most. Miles Morales is actually the second most popular Spider-Man next to Peter Parker, obviously. And then Gwen Stacy is another pretty interesting variant. And then obviously, you got Spider-Woman, but she's in a completely alternate reality where I was watching a Disney XD, one of the recent Disney XD Spider-Man series that was about a year ago or something. And I was watching a clip. on YouTube about a couple of weeks ago now. And basically, Peter Parker Spider-Man ended up in this other reality. He was looking for a certain character. And he ends up in kind of like meeting Spider-Woman. That was It was actually Peter Parker's female version. It's pretty much I'm just it's kind of interesting. It's pretty much if Peter Parker was actually born a girl, that's who in this reality it would be. So it's a bit weird, but they end up kind of working together and kind of bring down this certain character in that reality or something. It's a bit confusing. There's a lot of different realities, and obviously you've got what is it? There's a couple of big story points where Peter Parker goes into different realities, and you've got all these loads.
Isn't there one where after Peter actually dies? Isn't there one where after Peter dies, the Dr. Octopus becomes actual Spider-Man?
I don't know. I do know there is a reality where Peter Parker does die, and then I think someone else takes over the mantle. So you got female versions of this whole spider thing. Then you've got loads of different male versions. Obviously, you got Spider Venom or whatever. You got the Venom Spider-Man,
Spider Carnage,
and Spider Carnage. Yeah. You've got obviously Spider Venom's obviously an evil version where he actually kills people. And And then you've got Spider-Man Neo. He is a good character, but he's from like Victorian times.
Yeah.
I think his character's kind of from like the Victorian times, and he pretty much kind of gets infected with obviously this type of spider, and obviously he gets the powers, but he kind of uses his power, he uses his abilities to kind of like get answers. I think his wife is murdered or something, and he's kind of like going after him, like going after revenge of his death of his wife or something. So he's a bit more of a darker character. But it's there's loads. There's like evil versions. There's ones that are, it's really interesting. It's quite an interesting timescape, but I've not read much of the comic books to really understand certain continuities and that. There's some real good ones and some real bad ones, and I don't know what to read and what not to read.
Yeah.
He's finally here.
Oh, Sam's
here. Sorry about keeping you waiting.
Hey guy, how are you? You alright?
Yeah, bloody hell! I was caught up in a game of Skyrim. I didn't even realize. I wasn't online nurse, so I didn't actually.
That's alright. It's alright, mate. Don't worry.
Yeah, I was
playing Skyrim on your PC.
Yeah. I was just on that.
So poor Samuel just wasted a good portion of his evening on a game that's incredibly boring.
Yeah, boring to people who don't appreciate it.
Skyrim's not too bad.
Yeah, so I suppose I still see the point of it. I've tried it, and I just like people are saying, "No, this is the best game ever," and all, or at least visually beautiful. I'm like, it's okay. It's not the graphics on this game isn't that good.
Yeah, but you can't play it at max settings on the PlayStation.
Yeah.
You should still.
Here we go, Lawrence. What did I say a moment ago about PC and console games? Sam's going to come up with something to try and make consoles obsolete.
No, I'm just going to say you've never seen Skyrim on maxed out graphics, mate. They're like the rivers. They look real. They might as well be in physical reality.
It don't matter. The game itself still pans out the same.
Well, it's personal preference. If you want a boring game, I'd say Fallout 76.
Okay.
I've been testing that, and I've never been so bored in my life. It really bored me. Surprised me because I'm a big Fallout fan, but I don't know, just something about a vast empty world with no NPC characters and no settlements, and the concept that everything's going to be great because you'll all work together. It didn't really work. I might give it a year then try looking at it, but for the moment, I'm not really that interested.
I'm not. I mean, I was thinking about it, but to be honest, I haven't played much of the previous Fallout game. Really, I enjoyed the previous Fallout game.
You can play any of them, really. They're not connected. They're all separate.
I haven't really. What I'm thinking about doing is I'm thinking about maybe going to that Fallout game. I'll try and find it again. It's somewhere up here. I had to kind of like, I think I'll have to start it again anyway because I think he had to delete the game process to put something else on it. But yeah, I'm gonna see about playing the previous Fallout game again because I really enjoyed that game. It was quite cool with I was at the point I managed to get to the point where I was able to kind of walk around in that big mecha suit thing.
You need to get Fallout 4. Fallout 4's broke. They completely revamped the power armor in Fallout 4. It went from being effective in Fallout 3. It's effectively just a kind of like it doesn't really give you anything. It's separate pieces. But in Fallout 4, it's an actual proper mech suit that you've got to climb into, and it closes around you, and you can upgrade it so it's got like jetpacks and infrared sensors and all sorts of stuff. It's a good game, is Fallout 4.
Yeah, there's a few pretty popular game franchises that I haven't really bothered with, and I'm kind of regretting I haven't. or hadn't tried. I mean, like I say, I've never played any of the Final Fantasy games, and I really want to pick up the remaster of 7.
Well, 7, mate, that's not even out yet, is it?
Why did I thought it was out already.
I think it's out yet. I think it's out next year.
Oh, right. I thought it was out already.
The funny thing about that is that was actually teased almost 10 years ago. It was actually originally kind of teased with the PlayStation 3, and it just never happened.
I thought it was out already, or
no, it's not out yet. It's hang on, let's have a look.
What? I'm sorry if I sound like I'm talking to myself. I'm not. I'm talking to my pussycat. She's just come up to say hello.
Yeah, what's her name?
Mindy. You might just see her on the webcam.
Yeah, I can see it.
There's no actual release date for it at the moment. It's probably going to be 2019, but there's a lot of speculation that it might be the headline game for the next PlayStation.
All right.
Because at the moment, it's kind of up in the air. It's in development. It is happening. The Konami confirmed it last year and even released some effectively early game footage for it. But the way it's going, I think it'll be the headline game for the next PlayStation, whenever that is. Well, probably be 2020.
Yeah, I'm thinking I am. But the original version of Final Fantasy VII is going to be on this classic PlayStation.
Oh yeah, it is. I mean, I need to get that because you can get the original Final Fantasy VII. I can get that for PC. It's on PC. They pretty much confirmed the remake of that will be on PC as well. I can get all of them on PC more or less. My personal favorite is Final Fantasy X. That's my favorite one. I mean, I wouldn't mind to get Final Fantasy 12, but bloody hell, that'd take a long time to install because that's nearly 100 gig. That'd take a long time to install.
Have you played Final Fantasy 15?
No, I haven't played that one.
I've heard there's a few Final Fantasy games that are not very good with fans.
The ironic thing is, most of the fans will never have played anything pre-7.
Yeah.
It's actually the same thing with Metal Gear Solid. The famous Metal Gear Solid game that came out in like 97. There's actually about 3 Metal Gear Solid games that were previously before that. One of them being on the SNES, which again most people will never have heard of or played.
Yeah, the Metal Gear PS1 one. I mean, I'm only aware of that version.
Yeah, there's 3 before it. Technically, do you know Snake Eater?
Yeah.
Yeah, Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater. That's technically a remake of the original Metal Gear Solid game.
Oh.
And it's actually got bonus content where you can unlock levels from the original one and play them. But yeah, that's based off the original. There's a lot of games that came out on the PlayStation that were technically sequels to older games that nobody in the UK had played because it'd never come to the UK.
Yeah,
they only just started coming to the UK like recently.
Yeah, there's a lot of games in Japan that never really saw a proper release outside.
Like, I really want to get a Cayman Rider game because I'll probably get one for the Switch if there's one that comes out because the Switch is multi-regional. There's no region.
I didn't know there are any Kamen Rider games.
Yeah, I think they're only in Japan, but I think you can get some of them in North America. But say I could probably get one for the Switch because there's no region lock on it.
So, yes. One of the great things about the Steam platform is that they've got a good deal with Japan. And they have a hell of a lot of Japanese games on Steam. But it's obviously worth doing. They actually have a good deal as well with anime producers. You can buy and watch anime on Steam as well. I mean, it's a massive all-purpose platform. I actually have a theory that Steam might one day buy might buy Windows 7, because Windows 7 Microsoft will stop supporting it in about 4 years, and I actually think Steam might buy it and turn it into a game platform, because it's still the most popular Windows. To be fair, they don't need to stop supporting it. A lot of people hate Windows 10, especially gamers, because it's not compatible with certain graphics cards. So you're better off sticking with 7.
Yeah.
I have tried Windows 10 3 times, and each time I've had nothing but issues with it. I just stick with 7.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't like it either. Windows 10.
The thing is, I've always seen Microsoft's attempt to do it for free in a lot of ways. When it was first released and it was a free update for Windows 10, it was effectively what they were releasing was technically an early release of Windows 10, which is why it was so buggy. And they were kind of using it as a way to test it. I mean, I literally, the very first time I tried Windows 10, I switched back to 7 in less than an hour because I was having so many issues. I thought, screw it, it's going to we're going to go back to 7.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good thing that with the original release you could do that. You had 30 days to revamp it back to 7 for free, and I just did that in the space of an hour. But it's like anything. I mean, XP was a damn good system, and in a way, Windows 7 is just the upgraded version of XP. There was no real need to go higher. You should have stuck with 7 and just kept on updating it, because 7's a type of software that'll just work.
Yeah, I liked Windows 7. I'm actually running Windows 7 at the moment on this computer, mainly because it's kind of a good thing as well, because there's certain features that they took off from Windows 8 onwards. They kind of took off certain features that don't work anymore. Pretty much kind of like there's a DVD burner software that comes with that works with Movie Maker. And Windows 7 Movie Maker, say if you wanted to make like you were making a movie or whatever, you want to pop it on a DVD, it basically it gave you an option when you wanted to publish your video. It would give you an option to publish it to a DVD, so you could burn it. So when you did that, once the file or the video file that you'd done had published and it rendered or whatever, it would then automatically open up a separate program, and it would then allow you to put titles and edit and kind of make it like a proper movie, like a proper kind of do transitions and like edit it all, and then you could burn them to a disk. From Windows 8 onwards, they took that. They pretty much have ended support now of the old Movie Maker. They're not updating it anymore. So what they're doing now is they're actually bringing out something that you have to pay for, like a one-off thing, and it's supposed to be like a much more updated version of Movie Maker, but with I don't know how much better it's going to be. If it's just going to be the same thing, just with an extra couple of different animations added, I don't know. But they're actually thinking of kind of, even though Movie Maker is very popular, a lot of people still use Movie Maker, such as myself, and use Sam as well sometimes. But yeah, the free version that you get, they're actually ending support of it, and they're actually going to make a version where that works better with Windows 10 and then Windows whatever else you come out with in the future.
Well, yeah, I know that. I mean, one of the things as well that's kind of worth mentioning is Microsoft Office. The effectively, I think it was in Microsoft Office. What gets me is the best version of Microsoft Office is actually Microsoft Office 98. That's the best version. Then after that, like 2000 is not bad. The worst one is 2010 Microsoft Office. That's terrible. It's got a really bad interface. But I use a system called I forgot what it's Outlook. Or is it hang on, that's not called Outlook. It's called hang on, what is it? I forget what it's called now.
Notepad?
No, it's not Notepad. I put it right on here. I forgot what the bloody thing's called.
WordPad?
No,
WordPad.
Hang on. Let me just bring it up here. LibreOffice, that's it. It's called LibreOffice. It's basically, it's very similar to how Word 98 was. It's set up similar, but it's like a more up to date. But it's just worth having, really.
Yeah. I am thinking probably once I can start getting into the thingy of saving. Obviously, I'm thinking. Obviously, I want to either one where stick with Windows or a PC, whatever, and then upgrade my computer so it's a bit better, a bit faster, and better graphics card and things like that, so I can do a bit more with it. Or see about trying a Mac.
I would recommend a Mac.
I don't want to get like an up-to-date version because they're too expensive. I'm thinking about getting maybe one that's about 3 or 4 years old, still in good condition, but a model that's quite a few years old that's a bit cheaper that you can simply just update later if you wanted to. You could just update to the up-to-date version or whatever they're on software-wise now. But I want to try the iMovie because I've heard iMovie, even though it's pretty.
That is good.
Yeah, basically, it's pretty much like Movie Maker for Windows, but it's much more advanced. It has a lot more capabilities, iMovie, than the PC Movie Maker does, and a lot of people on YouTube use iMovie because it works so well. It's quite a versatile free software that comes with the Mac itself. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'll see. I mean, I know Macs are expensive, but I think if I went for if I went for a model that's probably about 3 or 4 years old, still brand new. I don't want to get a pre-owned thing or reconditioned unit because I never buy reconditioned anymore. I did that once with a phone and it didn't even last me a year, and I said never again.
To be frank, you'd be all right with a reconditioned computer, mate, because whenever they say reconditioned, 99% of the time, all that means is they just wipe the hard drive and reinstalled a new one. It's usually what it means.
True.
I mean, 99% of reconditioned computers, most of the time, depending on what you buy, if it's a bog standard thing, it's probably an office computer that's just been, taken out of the offices and they've selling them all off because they've upgraded. I mean, I've bought reconditioned stuff for PC in the past and never had any issues. I mean, the graphics card I've got, which I bought probably nearly 2 years ago, that brand new, that was 400 quid. I bought it off eBay for 170 as a tested one. It had been used as purely to test computer software, and it's a really good one. It cost me a fraction of what it would be brand new. And well, it was technically brand new. It only had about a month's worth of use in it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you ever do build a computer, you're better off buying the parts rather than buying a whole new one. But if you do buy a computer outright, mate, I don't know what to recommend you. I can't recommend you the company I use because they've gone out of business, so they're not around anymore. Because the problem is some places will rip you off. I'd probably say Amazon because Amazon do a lot of good things. Game is worth looking at because games sell computers.
Do they?
Yeah, sell computers. The problem is they don't advertise it. They do actually sell computers, like gaming computers. You can get a pretty good one from Game for about 250 quid, but they don't advertise it in the shop. You've probably got to go online and look them up. But they do actually do computers.
Well, I didn't know that.
I only found out about 4 years ago, but they do actually do their own computers.
Yeah, well, I'll see. If I can start getting a little bit of money pour away, I am thinking about Probably see once I can get myself, even before I get another job, just so I can just put something away. Just gonna, because this computer I've got at the moment, yeah, okay, it's a very slow and not a very good computer really, but it served its purpose. It has done a good job for a while. We've had this. I mean, it's a space saver computer, so for a space saving computer and everything, it's actually done quite a good job for us. It's done everything I wanted from it. But the only thing is, I can't do certain things that are too much for the graphics card to deal with. And I don't think with space savers, I think you're very limited of what you can replace on them. I think you
won't be able to replace anything on what you've got.
All right.
It's an office computer, mate. It's really not designed. But if I won the lottery, if I won the lottery, I would buy. It's just come out. I forget the name of it, but it's effectively the world's most powerful gaming computer, and it's limited to something like 2 per order. And it's basically the actual computer case is designed to look like the Enterprise, Star Trek. This is the most powerful gaming computer you can buy. It's $2,500, and everything in it.
Oh, what? I think that's one of my friends just bought. He's just bought one apparently for like $3,000. But the only game he ever played was World of Warcraft. I heard he's got like a new $3,000 computer. I don't know if it's one he's built himself. But
if your mate's computer has a Generation 9 processor, if it's got a CPU, if it's got an Intel i9 processor in it, then that'll be that computer. Because this computer's got next generation everything. So the graphics card, the processor, the memory, everything that's in it has practically just been released.
Oh. Like I said, Lawrence, it's just easier to play console games. Because you don't have to you have to update things, but it's like a system update takes no more than about 10 minutes, depending on the size, and you can just
normally I have a PS4 and an Xbox One. I mean, what I like about the Xbox One is because it's a Microsoft console, it kind of functions like a PC, and you can do things on it.
Well, yeah, I mean,
that you do on a PC.
I mean. The Xbox One or the Xbox One or the Xbox 360 or whatever, they both were essentially just they were literally, even a PS4, even PlayStations, they are a computer. You just simply plug it into a TV, that's your monitor. But it's like I said, and before Sam joined us, I've always been a fan of the console. Because, yes, I agree and understand games are concepted and created, and Sam understands this. Obviously, you need a computer in order to make a game, because it's all concepted on a computer, like coded and everything. But when it comes to a playing standard, and when it comes to playing the game, I prefer using a controller. Yes, I know you can get controllers.
No, I do as well. I mean, now you can get gaming controllers for computers.
Yes,
you can get them for PCs, but
the
ones I'm used to are the original console controllers.
Yeah, you can get. They've been around for a long time. I had years ago. I never used it really because I don't know why, but I just never really got around to using it. But I used to have a controller that would work with my computer. And it was based on the similar arrangements of the Nintendo SNES controller with the coloured buttons and everything.
What, do you know when your SNES is due to come? When you plan?
Sorry?
Is it on its way? Classic mini SNES.
Yeah, I bought one earlier today, like I said, as pretty much as birthday present off my dad.
When is your birthday?
28th. This month.
So you'll have it a bit early then.
I'm going to have it a bit early, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to just give it a once over, just make sure it works, make sure it's all okay. Then I'm gonna put it away and then kind of put it away for my birthday, really, or see what's what. Oh, I can use it straight away. It doesn't really matter. It's something for my birthday. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna do a birthday haul thing. I might do a birthday haul video and probably, kind of just include it in that on the day of.
Do one, mate, especially with what I'm getting you.
I'll be doing one. I always do a video haul video.
An interesting video. Hello, everyone. It's Knowlsy here, and yes, Sam is indeed tied up behind me, beaten and bloody. You see, it's my birthday, and he was being a bastard. So I beat him up and claimed his copy of Past Sins. Here it is. And yes, it's already on eBay if you want to buy it. What's that, Sam? Yes, I am a complete bastard. Do I care? No!
I think this is what you probably bought John for his birthday, Sam.
Oh, yeah.
Have you found him a copy of Past Sins?
The chances of me finding another copy of Past Sins is probably about as much as me winning the lottery.
I actually did a little bit of a search myself, see if I could even not getting a first edition, if we could just get like a reprint someone's put up, and there was nothing.
Well, buy a reprint. I know where you can buy them.
Well, I couldn't find any on eBay, but
you won't find them on eBay.
And I'm not too bothered about.
I'll just leave it to you guys. I'm just gonna nip out for a fag.
Okay.
I'll be back in a minute.
You won't find them on eBay, mate. If I can remember the website, I'll send you a link. But there is a website where you can buy books and stuff, and they're largely independent, obviously, authors and stuff. And so it's not official. It's not an official release. It's not Penstroke who's done this, but you can buy effectively a third party edition, which is the same book, but it's got a different covering on it. You probably might be able to find other third party releases of it, but the actual one by Penstroke, literally, you'd be very, very hard pressed to find a copy anywhere. I mean, aside from the one I bought off eBay, I've only ever seen 2 other copies go on eBay.
Mm.
I mean, ironically, to kind of be accurate here, I did at one point about 2-ish years ago, I was looking into buying you a copy for your birthday. The only reason I didn't, because there was a copy on eBay, the only reason I didn't buy it was because I wasn't too keen on the fact that the seller wasn't showing pictures of the book.
Mm.
He had because basically on the official release of Past Sins, when Penstroke did the book release, it came in its own little kind of box, and the seller was showing only pictures of the box. And I thought, right, if you're not going to show pictures of the book, I ain't even going to bid on it. Because how do I know it's not just an empty box? You got to show pictures of the book, or else no one's going to be interested.
Well, yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, I've got to pick up. I've got I've got two more things that I've got to pick up on Saturday from post office, and one other thing I should probably get dispatched the next day or two.
Okay.
I might have gone a bit overboard for you, but it's your birthday, and to be frank, mate, I thought, you know what, you needed something special. You've had a shitty last 18 months.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But like I said, but even so, you really didn't have to put if you spent. I'll probably tell straight away if you spent too much anyway, because it's what you're telling me. You've got this like a mixture of all sorts, and I'm like, yeah, it's definitely gone over £20 that we arranged to do.
Yeah, just a bit, just a bit. Though, in all honesty, what's happening with your birthday is something that I've been putting together over the course of the last 7 months.
Hmm.
But yeah, I would say I've definitely gone way over 20 quid.
Oh dear.
Hell, the very first thing that I bought for you was way over 20 quid. That was something I was saving for, because I thought, you know what, I'm going to buy it for you because you'll really appreciate it. And there's not many of them knocking about. They're pretty hard to get hold of. So, you know. Let's just say it's from a fan base we're both into, which, in a way, it's not quite past sins, but you could say it's the past sins of a certain fan base.
Okay.
Well, it's not a book.
Oh.
But yeah.
When it comes to books, I've got a bit too many to try and read and finish.
Oh, you've got some books that I've got, yeah.
The only thing is, I don't know quite where I should unbox this damn thing. I don't know whether I should unbox it on the Brony channel or do it.
Well, to be completely straight with you, you've got a mix. You've got a mix of Brony, a mix of some other fan bases, some non-fan base stuff. It is a mix, mate. Literally, you've got a mix of stuff.
Has anyone added to their MLP fan fictions recently?
Not yet. It's on my list of stuff to do. But the thing is, Lawrence, I've got loads of stuff that I'm actually currently writing. I've got other stuff that's non-MLP that I'm writing. I've been knocking around. You see, I've been knocking around the online writing world for about 10 years, mate. So I've written some stuff that's quite well, I'd say well recognized. It's recognized on certain platforms.
Have you ever written full novels before?
No. I've just written short stories, stuff like that. I have, though, to be honest, I have actually written a novel. It's about 33 chapters long. I wrote it about 10 years ago. I do actually want to rewrite it at some point and maybe see about possibly getting it published. Though it would personally, it would definitely need some stuff.
Yeah, I'm looking into ideas for your for Christmas for you, Sam, as well. But see how things go.
I'm just trying to get Windows Media Player back. I haven't got it at the moment. I need to try and reinstall it. Problem is, they've kind of pulled it, and Microsoft don't support Windows 7 Media Player anymore, and obviously Windows 10 won't work on Windows 7. So I'm just trying to. All right.
Oh, well. So then, Lawrence, when are you going to be checking out Digimon Frontier? Or have you already started watching it?
No, well, I've just picked it up today. I mean, after we finished on here, would it be all right to go around sort of near midnight and call the short one? I might watch a few episodes before I turn in.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, no worries, mate.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I picked up the box set today. Tamers and Frontier have come out within about a month of each other, obviously, for Christmas. But we were saying earlier, it's been very odd that it was 2 years ago, around the same time, that the box sets for Adventure 1 and 2 came out in the UK. And that they've waited. They've had like a, nearly 2 year gap between them.
Yeah, it's it's been a long time since the box sets that me and Sam have got. They're the American versions, the American Region 1s, and it's been a while since they were officially released in America. I've had seasons 1 to 5 for about a good couple of years now, maybe 2 or 3 years I've had mine. So I think they've been out for about. I think the whole seasons 1 to 5 have been out for about 5 years in America.
Yeah, I was thinking. I did see when I was in HMV, they did have a box set of seasons 1 to 4. Obviously, there's no point in getting that because I've got seasons 1 to 3 already. So.
I'm kind of liking. I know this is kind of going completely off topic and talking about an anime now. Well, we was talking about anime there, but talking about a different anime now. But I am very happy that they're finally finishing up Dragon Ball Kai box set wise. The series itself was finished, but for some reason they kind of put the latter parts of the DVD on kind of a bit of a hold for a little bit.
Yeah.
And as of this year, I think they've released I think they've released the last of the box sets a couple of weeks ago. I'm going to start buying that. I mean, to be honest, I actually want to buy all the original Dragon Ball Z series as well because they've finally released all of them on remastered versions. They've released Blu-ray box sets of all the Dragon Ball Z anime. And they've also released Dragon Ball, which is a series before Z, obviously. And they've also released the remastered versions of GT, but I'm not bothered about GT. I don't know whether to be a completist. Well, I mean completist, but I'll get everything. But the thing is, I'm not going to appreciate GT, to be honest. I don't know whether I should bother.
Yeah, I heard. I've never watched any of GT. I've never watched much of Dragon Ball. I've seen some episodes of the original series. I've got a couple of DVDs, and I've got a Dragon Ball Z movie. But that was one I never got into as a kid. But I've watched it now. But I've heard that a lot of people like GT, but it's not that good.
It does have a fan base, but it wasn't done by Akira Toriyama, that's the guy who come up with Dragon Ball in the first place. He wasn't a part of the anime version. I don't know if he was a part of the manga but I don't know, but he wasn't a part of the GT concept. I don't think. Hence why, I think that's why the anime wasn't as good, because Akira Toriyama wasn't a part of it. It was somebody else that kind of decided to bring GT to anime version, and I think that's why it wasn't very good, because it essentially was somebody else kind of doing it. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like it from about halfway in.
Yeah.
Basically, the whole first part is Trunks and Goku and Pan essentially go into space, and then Goku essentially gets I don't think I think you see it happen. I think you do. Yeah, he gets a curse or spell put on him by somebody in space, and he ends up being like fingered back to a small boy. And it's pretty much a good half of the series is them three, Pan, Trunks, and Kid Goku, going around the universe looking for the Dragon Balls, and then they're kind of like a big quest for the first half, and then from about halfway in onwards, it starts to feel a bit more like Dragon Ball Z, where it's just where the Omega Shenron, basically the Shenron like guardians of the Dragon Balls or something, kind of like come to Earth, and they pretty much nearly kill off a lot of the Z fighters, and they all have to come together. Like obviously Vegeta, Gohan, Trunks, Goku. Goku then goes to Super Saiyan 4, which is after Super Saiyan 3, obviously. And they also they bring Super Saiyan 4 form into the canon, and stuff like that. And it's actually quite good from about halfway in, because it resembles a lot of Z afterwards, up until it finishes.
Yeah.
There's some very good fights in the latter end of the GT as well.
I've always thought like the first arc of GT was pretty weak and awful, really.
I didn't like it. I didn't like the idea of Goku being a kid again. I thought it was a very stupid idea to begin with. I mean, to be honest, I need to watch Dragon Ball. I haven't watched any Dragon Ball for ages. I have watched the odd episode, but I've never watched it properly. I know obviously in Dragon Ball he meets Krillin for the first time, and Yamcha and Bulma, and he's pretty much fighting the Red Ribbon Army in Dragon Ball. They're pretty much the big baddies. He pretty much is fighting other bad humans, really. He doesn't really fight any aliens or anything like that. It's a mixture of androids and evil humans he fights. And then obviously when it comes to Dragon Ball Z, he then fights Frieza, Cell, Boo, and the androids and that. So that's when he starts kind of like fighting other alien races when he gets older. But I definitely want to check out Dragon Ball. I mean, I think Dragon Ball as a series is a little bit slower in pace than Z. I mean, Dragon Ball is a bit more an involved story, because obviously it's him growing up, and then obviously Grandpa Gohan, that when he first goes to comes to Earth, and then he raises him for so long, and then he ends up being killed by Goku because he kills him by accident. And then he found out he kind of bumps his head, and then he becomes good instead of evil. And then it's pretty much he kind of gets taken in by Master Roshi. And then he kind of grows up with Krillin. Because obviously Master Roshi is training Krillin. So yeah, pretty much that. And then obviously he meets Yamcha later on. Then he meets Bulma as well later when she's younger. I think she's only in her teens, I think. I think when she first meets her, I think she's probably about 15, 16 when he meets her first. Which would make sense. Actually, she must have to be over 14, because there's a lot of sexually innuendos around Bulma in Dragon Ball. Let's just put it this way: small kid has curiosity of a female form. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe I've seen there's a few booby squeezes out of curiosity of Goku because he doesn't understand the difference between male and female. Obviously, he's only I think 5. I think he's 5 years old. I think
He's actually 14.
No, I'm about Goku.
I'm pretty sure in the manga is about, isn't he like 10 or something?
I think the Goku that follows. I think Goku, when the story kind of follows him off of that present day Goku or whatever before he becomes into Z, I think he is about 10 years old when he starts kind of going off with Bulma and that. But obviously he's a small baby when he crash lands on Earth. And I think for the first 10 years of his life on Earth, he's brought up by Grandpa Gohan, but he ends up being killed by accident, and it was due to something Goku did when he essentially was bad, and then he become good. Well, you know, I think when he first opened the pod, he was evil, and he started to pretty much destroy wherever he crash landed, and then Grandpa Gohan pretty much picked him up. He put him in like a satchel on his back, and he started climbing something, and he fell out and banged his head, and that's how he got amnesia, and he couldn't remember who he was when he was a baby, and he couldn't remember the agenda that he was sent there to eradicate Earth and all humans for the Saiyans, and he couldn't remember that. And then that's why in Z you've got Raditz, which is his brother, one of his brothers, and then you've got Tullus, which is another brother. Essentially was his twin brother because they're exactly the same. And yeah, but Raditz was. I like Raditz, his brother, but he's compared to Vegeta and Nappa and Raditz was shit for a Saiyan. Really, he was powerful to take out humans because humans don't have much of a powerful power level, but I mean, he was stronger than Goku to begin with, but obviously with Goku and Piccolo combining themselves together, teaming up, that's how they were supposed to best him, because obviously they bested Raditz with Special Beam Cannon, which is Piccolo's ultimate move, and that's how they killed him, and obviously it killed Goku as well. Then he got wished back with the Dragon Balls, and then that was that. But you know, I mean, Vegeta obviously he was stronger than both Raditz and Nappa, because obviously he kills Nappa in the Saiyan saga. He gets his back broken by Goku when he comes back, and then he can't walk anymore. So Vegeta kind of tosses him in the air and blows him up, which is very nice of him.
Well, I respect it's Vegeta.
But yeah. It's Prince Vegeta. It was Prince Vegeta, which is I love Prince Vegeta compared to what he is now. I mean, I love Vegeta as a character. Now he's more like a grumpy old man. Now, he's gone from a completely evil, eradicate anybody in my path person to a more level-headed, grumpy old man. Even though he's still a bit rash. Because obviously in Z later on, when he fights Boo, he becomes Margin Vegeta when he has the M put on his face, on his head, and he actually outpowers Goku for a time when he's in that mode, because it awakens his inner strength, and he becomes stronger, but he also becomes evil, and he actually kills Trunks, I think, or attempts to he attempts to kill Trunks when he's under the influence of Majin Buu, but he gets saved by Goku, and then Goku tries to fight him, but it's actually quite touching. It's quite sad in the end, because his subconscious starts. Vegeta's subconscious starts to shine through a little bit near the end of the Buu arc, or that part of the arc anyway, when Vegeta gets taken over. And he actually has to do a final flash which is his ultimate technique, and the Final Flash also kills him. So it's like an end of all move, but he never uses it again. He only uses it once, Final Flash, and so he uses Final Flash, and that pretty much kills Vegeta, and plus it kind of eradicates whoever. I think it also kills Boo, or no, not Boo. It kills somebody else as well that was controlling him or something. I don't know. And then Majin Buu then kind of then obviously the whole Majin Buu thing where they split and obviously it becomes Evil Buu or whatever. But I do like the Buu saga. I think Buu saga. I love the Frieza saga, obviously. But I think my favourite saga has to be the Buu saga for me, because in that saga you kind of see certain characters, how they're going to react when they haven't got certain characters there to help them. So like you've got because obviously pretty much it's when Gohan comes into his own in Buu. And essentially, it's Gohan that kind of like saves his father and the rest of his friends, because he can Mystic Gohan in Buu, doesn't he? He goes to the Kai planet, and the Kais train him, and he becomes Mystic Gohan, and he actually surpasses his dad for a little bit, and he actually almost defeats Evil Buu. But then it's Goku when he goes to Super Saiyan 3, and he actually defeats Kid Buu when he goes to Kid Buu. Gohan wasn't able to defeat Kid Buu, but he was able to. I think when he went to Super Buu, which is the form before Kid Buu, Gohan was able to go toe to toe, and he was actually faster than him in in Super Buu form. But then when he went to Kid Buu, that was the ultimate form, and he was like ridiculously strong, and it actually ended up Gohan destroying Buu in the end. But I really do like the Buu saga because it really shines mainly on Gohan. When he's a teen Gohan, when he's actually adult Gohan, whatever he is at that point, it's adult. But I actually prefer, because the reason why I was saying before about the Kai series, the fans don't like Kai. There's a bit of a resentment that it's like a mixture of yes and no within the fan base of the Dragon Ball fan base. Some people don't see the point of Kai, but at the same time, I kind of do see the point of Kai, because what Kai's about is it makes all the acts, it makes the story, it compacts the story from start to finish. But what it does is it also it eradicates the plot holes that the original anime had. It actually, because there's certain parts in the Freezer arc, the Saiyan arc, Vegeta arc, Cell arc, and the Buu arc, all those arcs.
Yeah. There
was a lot of continuity issues with the original Dragon Ball Z anime. There was a lot of plot holes. So what Dragon Ball Kai the whole conception of Kai is that some fights and some elements was reanimated to make them look better, and then they actually revoiced the whole thing as well. So the voice cast, some characters was recast. So like Frieza was recast. So Chris Aries first debuted as Frieza in Kai, and then they recast Bulma as well, and a few other characters in the dub. And then from then on, that's pretty much the cast that we know now from Dragon Ball, because they recast certain characters in Kai, but they revoiced they revoiced it, and also there was some also kind of like they kind of reanimated certain things as well, or just to kind of touch it up a bit. And obviously, it was a fully remastered series, so a lot of the older stuff that's like from the original anime was remastered, so it looks nicer. But what the whole idea was to kind of get rid of the plot holes and kind of make it a bit easier to follow. Because the original, even I love the original Dragon Ball Z anime, but there was it was a little bit too long, and not much happened for a long periods of time. So like there's a few episodes where literally it's like 3 episodes length, and it's just Goku kind of powering up. And it's like, there's no point to that. You don't need to see him power up for 3 episodes. You know, so that's the whole idea of Kai, is to kind of get rid of the unnecessary episodes that was in it, but keep the story rich. That makes sense. So that's why I want to get Kai, because I haven't watched Kai properly, not all of it. I've only watched so much when it was on telly. Because I think it was Nickelodeon that aired Dragon Ball Kai when it come out on UK and that. But yeah, I do like Dragon Ball, but I need to, once I'm able, I do want to see about looking into. Once I'm able, I do want to see if I can like look at more of it.
Yeah. Isn't some of Dragon Ball on Netflix?
Not the series, only the movies they brought out. Yeah, they've got Battle of Gods and Resurrection of Frieza. They're the only Dragon Ball stuff on Netflix. Amazon doesn't have any either. I was so surprised. I thought Amazon would probably be able to get the rights to the series, but they don't either. It's a bit weird with Dragon Ball. It must be. I think it's something to do with rights with Funimation and Toei. Toei Animation are very picky of who they partner with, and it's only Funimation that they've actually been able to have this relationship with. Because obviously Fox had the rights, actually acquired the rights from to make the bloody Abysmal with Dragon Ball Evolution, and then after that, Toei just would not allow anybody to handle their precious baby, which was Dragon Ball. After that, but Funimation have been able to keep with a working relationship with them. So they only trust Funimation to do the official dub for them. Well, not the official dub, because there's a Canadian dub as well. There's a German. There's a few dubs actually. There's a Canadian dub, and then there's obviously Funimation. Well, Funimation is the North American dub, and then Ocean dub's the Canadian dub. And Scott McNeil played Piccolo in the Ocean dub.
I think Dragon Ball Evolution will forever be a stain upon anime.
And guess who will play Goku in the Canadian dub? Sam will probably know.
Who?
Do you know Sam?
Derek Shaw?
No. He is Canadian, but no. Do I have out looking on Google? Come on, Sam. Look at that big sweltering head of yours. There must be a brain in there somewhere. Come on, use that brain. Brain. Well, you can see the gears getting clogged. You don't know? Ian James Corlett.
Ah, yes, of course.
Ian James Corlett played Goku in the Ocean dub, and Piccolo played. Scott McNeil played Piccolo.
Piccolo played Scott McNeil.
And what's interesting, 2 of the voice actors out of the Canadian dub, actually no, I think 3, are actually MLP voice actors. The guy that Brian Drummond, who plays Ocean dub Vegeta, and he's a fucking kick-ass Vegeta, right? He actually plays a couple of secondary characters in the MLP, Friendship is Magic, and obviously Ian James Corlett plays a character in it as well. Well, let's have a look at that. Actually, I think there's a couple of characters from the Canadian. I think there's a couple of voice actors out of the Canadian dub of out the dub of a Canadian ocean dub, should I say, of Dragon Ball. I think there's a couple that went on to do Finn.
I think quite a lot of I think there's quite a lot of voice actors out there that want to get involved with Finn, largely because of how popular it is.
Yeah. Well, the beautiful thing about Finn is it is actually an American Canadian production. So with that being an American Canadian production, American actors can apply, can go to it if there's a casting call for any characters for brand new ones, because it has to be, because look at the movie, casting the characters for the movie, the new ones, Tempest Shadow and her minion guy, that weird guy, and that other, whatever his name was, and obviously the sea ponies and things like that. All those new characters, they're not Canadian, you know. Emily Blunt is British, even though Emily Blunt's British, but she lives in America, so she's got an American citizenship. So she's able to work. She's able to work in America, but she hasn't got she hasn't got the right to live. She can't really live and work in Canada, but because she lives in America and it's an American Canadian production, she can go to, you know, she can go for the role. And then obviously all the other characters from all the brand new characters are all American actors and musicians. But the main core cast are all Canadians. Tara Strong's Canadian, but she lives in America, so she's able to still be Twilight. But the rest of them are all Canadian, born and bred, and they live in Canada. So I think so. I don't know if Ashley Ball moved. I'm not sure. No, I think she still does live in Canada, but she might have moved since to a different part. But all the rest of the cast live in Canada, because Canada is the next to Los Angeles. Canada is literally the place for animation to get voiced and dubbed. Because Canada dub most of the dubs for a lot of I think nearly all the dubs for the Gundam franchise that they've done in English have been Canadian cast, because Gundam Wing had a Canadian cast, voice cast, because Scott McNeil played one of the main characters in, again, Scott McNeil, but he's Canadian, but he played one of the main characters. That piloted a Gundam. I've forgotten the guy's name, but he was in the dub of Gundam Wing. Gary Chalk is Canadian, so the voicing for, if you've noticed, the voice cast for Beast Wars and Beast Machines was Canadian, all of them. So I think a lot of them. I think a lot of the voice. I think a lot of animation is mixture of North America, LA, and Canada. They pretty much, those three parts make up a lot of the voiceover process. But North America is mainly known for dub of Japanese and, you know, pretty much anime dub. But Bang Zoom, which is in LA, Bang Zoom is the studio that does most of DC and Marvel stuff and Disney stuff. So that's where you want to go for being a voice actor, because you will get in with the big boys, if you know what I mean. Hence why Tara Strong works in LA, because she works for Bang Zoom on a lot of stuff, and she also works for. She also does a lot of Canadian stuff, which is MLP, because MLP, all the casting stuffs, a lot of the animation process, I think, DHX is the animation company behind MLP, and they do the voice stuff as well, and the storyboarding and the animation side, they do all that. And DHX, I think, is based in America, but all the voice recording and stuff was all done in Canada, except for Tara Strong. She did it at a home studio, I think. Because Tara Strong, because Tara Strong was the first character. Sorry, Tara Strong was the first actress confirmed to play a character in the new series, because she's actually real good friends with Lauren Faust. And she works with Lauren Faust because I think Lauren Faust was part of the production character designer on Powerpuff Girls. So she previously worked with Tara Strong on Powerpuff Girls because she played Bubbles. So their working relationship, and obviously she was, and then pretty much when Lauren Faust was kind of coming up with the idea of Friendship is Magic, Lauren Faust went to Tara Strong's house and she asked her, could you do a couple of lines for me now? So she pretty much did an audition at her own home with Lauren Foster, and she said, yes, you are my Twilight. But she also kind of did for the other characters as well. I think she did Pinkie Pie, and because obviously Tara Strong could have done Pinkie Pie easy, because all it is just a high-pitched Bubbles, really. But yeah, she applied. I think she tried a couple of voices, but then she became Twilight Sparkle. But then Andrea Libman became Pinkie Pie and Fluttershy, and then Ashley Ball was Applejack and Rainbow Dash, and
Rainbow Dash and Applejack.
That's right, yeah. And then obviously Rarity is voiced by one of the best voice actresses in one of the business, especially the voiceover business. What's the flipping name now? Freaking hell, she got out of my head. Tabitha St. Germain, there we go. Tabitha St. Germain's been in the business for maybe about 25, 30 years nearly. And she's been in a lot of big English dubs of everything. She's been in a lot of stuff as Tabitha. She's brilliant. So that, yeah. But Ashley Ball, out of all the voice actors, out of all the main cast for MLP, Ashley Ball is actually the newest when it comes to the business, because she was doing voice work before, but she'd only been professional and getting work for about 2 years before she got the role as Applejack and Rainbow Dash. She's now probably, well, since MLP, Fim is about. Fim is about, obviously it's like next year it'll be 10 years. I think, next year, no, 9 years next year. So, but hopefully, if they consider making a season 10, that will be a full decade. But yeah, she's been doing. She's probably been a professional voice actress now, Ashley Ball, thanks to MLP for now nearly 12 or 13 years now, because of the run of MLP, and obviously.
You guys like to be voice actors?
Sorry.
Would you guys like to be voice actors?
I'd like to try it, but there is places in Hull that do one-to-one vocal coaching, and I'm thinking about doing that. But at the moment, like I say, everything's on hold. I can't really afford to do that while I'm out of work, because I'd have to go at least once or twice a week, really, to make that viable. So yeah. But I'd like to do voice acting. It's because I've met a lot of people, and obviously growing up, because obviously when I went to pretty much Art Assembly 2010 was probably the start of me probably looking at me going, I want to do voice acting, because obviously 2010 Art Assembly I met Gary Chalk and Scott McNeil, and they are literally, Scott McNeil is just incredible. But then when at the panel and also the opening ceremony, and I just was like, oh my god, that's Big Bot. That is Optimus Primal, and then that's Rat Trap, and then that's Dinobot, and then that's so pretty much nearly all the cast was just there between just two people, except for the voice actor that did Depth Charge. But we met Depth Charge. The guy did Depth Charge as well, which was the guy through. Oh, what the hell? What's his name? Steve something that went to. I think it was one of the last auto assemblers. Steve something, but he voiced Prime Shockwave as well.
Yeah, I know you mean. I forget his name now. Yeah, I know who you mean.
And we also met Venus Taser. She was obviously Black Arachnia. Yeah.
Lovely woman.
So good. Oh yeah, it was so good to see Venus Taser. I was just like, "Are you fucking kidding me right now?" I had a bit of a mad crush on Black Arachnia when I was a kid, and then just hearing the sexy voice when she was doing the panel, the story reading, I was just like, "Oh my god!" You needed Scott McNeil there to go with her because he played Silverbolt. He played Silverbolt, so Silverbolt and Black Arachnia, they could have really done that. That would have been fucking hilarious. But I would like. I don't know. I mean, I'm hoping next year with obviously it's a Beast Machines theme. So I'm kind of wondering. Most of the guests are going to have to voice the character in Beast Machines or Beast Wars. So I'm kind of.
Do you think there'll be another concert?
I think they might do another concert, but I don't know because I don't want to say too much and then probably see who they actually managed to book and think, oh god. And then
it could be a number of people, mate. I mean, I know there's various people. I mean, the rumor going around was that whoever it is supposedly going to top Stan Bush, but that'd be a pretty hard thing to do.
The only two musicians, if they think about doing a concert, and I mentioned this last time in the feed when we did a live chat, there's only really two more artists that are just as prolific in the Transformers fandom next to Stan Bush, and that is Vince DiCola and Weird Al. They're the only two that would probably rival Stan Bush.
Yeah.
When it comes to the movie soundtrack. Because Vince DiCola pretty much produced pretty much all the soundtrack except for the Rocky tracks. He did all the he did Dare, I think. I think Dare was Vince DiCola. He also did the alternate version of the Transformers theme. He also did no, it's not Dare. I don't know what was it? Oh, what you two probably know. You probably I've seen it numerous times. The song. Yeah, the song where Cup and Hot Rod ended up in the Sharkticons and everything. What song was that? Is it Instruments of Destruction?
Yes.
Yeah. That was Vince DiCola. I didn't realise. I thought it was a rock band, but no. Vince DiCola. That was all sampler. That was all samples. That track, it fooled me for years. I actually thought it was a large band that recorded that, but it wasn't. It was Vince DiCola in a room, and he pretty much did the drums, guitar, and all the synthesized music. He pretty much constructed that, and he had a vocalist that kind of sung. It wasn't Stan Bush; it was somebody else, I think. But yeah. Instruments of Destruction was Vince DiCola. And then I think he did a few others as well. But Vince DiCola and Weird Al definitely would probably rival Stan Bush as a concert. But with the problem is with actually, I think Vince DiCola also did the Weird Al song.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, you know that MLP track that I tried doing, that little demo I did.
Yeah.
The samples of Pinkie Pie's voice were recordings from a talking Pinkie Pie I've got.
Yeah, I thought that. I was thinking of it. I was listening to it. I thought, yeah, he's probably got it from his plush.
It was, it's actually it's a plastic toy that walks and talks.
Oh, right. Okay.
What do you think to it?
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, it was a good first time listening to a track you've done. It was good.
Did you like it, Sam? My MLP song.
I didn't like it. I thought it was I actually felt like it had a bit of a Halloween touch to it. It had a bit of a spooky vibe. But I did like the way you'd managed to put Pinkie's voice into that. I like that. It's well done on all accounts.
Yeah, this is it. It's like I'll probably work on it and add a bit more to it.
I'm thinking about doing that. Probably once I get a better computer that can handle certain things and certain software. I am actually thinking about getting like getting a software for samples. So where I can kind of create my own music and everything. And I'm thinking about doing some of my own stuff based on
the Mac. The software you get with it, you get software called GarageBand.
Oh, yeah.
That's actually from Cadence, that is. The quieter vocals.
I don't know if you can see it behind me, guys, but I've started watching. I don't know if you can see it on the telly behind me. Move things out the way. About it.
Larry, I can't see what that is, mate.
No, I kind of thought that. Basically, it's Headmasters. I thought to watch Headmasters to kind of review on. That behind you is Daniel being chased by one of the Predacons. I was kind of hoping to get run over and trampled and killed. Basically, I'm watching the Japanese language subtitle version because I've only ever watched it dubbed, and the dub is terrible. Because I kind of like it, like episode 1, and like the 4 strangers from the sky. Like, eh? No. Is it the 4 or 5 warriors from the sky? And it's pretty much the train bots, the basically the train bots or whatever. and they pretty much kind of come to Cybertron, and they're kind of like the way that they've dubbed the title, they've translated the title. It's just so bad. And also I think it is Headmasters. Yeah, it is. The final fight between Soundwave and Blaster. Sam knows this one.
Billy, no.
Blaster's called Billy. Blaster is called Billy in the dub. I don't know if he is in the Japanese version, but it's called Billy. And pretty much one of the other characters kind of stands around at him, and he's just about to be killed. He's just like, Billy, no! But the fight between Blaster and Soundwave is brilliant, though. It's awesome. It's just like, right, we're going to shoot at each other. It's not working. Chuck down your laser guns. Let's fistball. And then, Soundwave gets Blaster puts his fist through Soundwave's chest. He does the same to Blaster. And it's pretty much just like, we're going to die here, but they end up both, well, Blaster kills Soundwave outright. And then Blaster kind of just dies of his injuries. But then they get put together with Sound Blaster. So that's how Sound Blaster comes to be, because it's a mixture of Blaster and Soundwave parts. So they kind of Frankenstein two pots and make Sound Blaster, which is kind of weird, but typical Japan.
Have you got a pony in your little garage yet, Sam?
No, I haven't got anything. I haven't got anything. Well, the only MLP stuff I've got in here is just a couple of like art of books and things like that. I mean, all my rest of my MLP stuff's in my bedroom.
Well, the Japanese voices though in Headmasters are massively better than the dub. It just sounds better. It's just like, the English dub is just like, you can tell what they've done is they've simply just roughly translated the Japanese script into English. So there's like there's big confusing gaps when it comes to the sentences, and it's kind of like pretty much like, it's like, for instance, it's kind of like the scenes where a character's talking to another character, and it's like, like Galvatron to whoever else is just like, okay, I want you guys over there to go and do this, and like, yes sir, we'll go and do that now. And then next minute it's just like, oh, you over there, you understand now, don't you? And it's like, what the hell is this going on now? It's like trying to be British but not British, and it doesn't work. It's just like, what the fuck? Seriously, it's actually quite laughable. It really is quite entertaining as the English dub, because it's cringing at the same time. It's just hilarious. But I do like the Headmaster's opening there. It's like, head on! Head on! I finally got Victory as well, so I've got all the Takara stuff, and I can finally watch it all. I want to get more Transformers stuff on DVD though. I've got quite a lot of it now. The only series I don't have, or series, I don't have all of Transformers Prime. I need to get the rest of Prime, as well as the movie, the Predacon Rising or whatever.
I've got that.
Yeah, the only thing I've got for Prime is the 5-episode starter with Cliffjumper when he gets killed. That's all I've got for Prime, and personally I think that 5-episode special is better than a lot of the first season. So I've got that. That's all I've got for Prime. But I've got Beast Machines and Beast Wars. I've got all of that. I've got Robots in Disguise seasons 1 and 2. So I've got all of Robots in Disguise, the original 2001 series. I've got Headmasters, Victory, and Master Force. I've also got G1 as well on the movie. I've got I've got Animated as well, Transformers Animated. So I've got pretty much all of them except for the Takara trilogy and Prime. So all I need is the Takara trilogy and Prime, and I've got everything that's been released on DVD. But I don't think... I'll have to look. I don't think they've released all the Takara trilogy on DVD. I think they've released Armada. But I'm not too sure about Cybertron and Energon. But I don't like Energon. I hate Energon. I absolutely hate Energon, but I'm thinking about just getting them anyway because they're more nostalgic. Because I grew up mainly with the Takara trilogy as a kid, because they aired in the early thousands. I think they aired in 2005 or 2003 or 5 or something like that. No, 2003 I think they aired the Takara trilogy. Because I don't know. No, I might be wrong. Because there was quite a gap between the Armada trilogy airing to animated airing. I think there was like a good 5 or 6 year gap or something in between. So that's what I'm thinking about doing. So, like I said earlier to you, Lawrence, I'm currently watching season 2 now of Young Justice. I do recommend that, Lawrence.
Yeah.
If you're interested, in DC.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
It's good. I mean, it's on Amazon Prime. It's not on Netflix. It's on Amazon Prime. All the first 2 seasons.
I don't have that, but I don't know if it might come to DVD or.
Yeah. Well, if you don't have Amazon Prime, it will be on the net somewhere. You'll probably be able to find it. Might be able to find it somewhere so you can watch it online. It should be online. But
yeah,
season 3 is airing early next year. It got cancelled after season 2, but the Warner Brothers Animation confirmed earlier this year that they're going to make a season 3. So season 3 of Young Justice airs, I think maybe January, next year. So I want to watch all seasons 1 to 2, so basically 1 and 2, so I can get ready for season 3 to air. Well, it's kind of a good thing, really, because Cartoon Network hastily cancelled it, and a lot of fans were like, "Why have you cancelled it? This is like the best. This is probably the best series in years based on these characters." You know. Well, Cartoon had a bit of a thingy of cancelling good shows.
Unfortunately, that's always going to be Cartoon Network, mate. They just have a habit of cancelling stuff when it gets good.
Cartoon Network won't always like that, though. That's the thing, because when basically they've gone. Basically, since we were kids, they've gone through about 3 main executives, or the person that looks over the production of stuff. Currently, I believe it's a woman, I believe, and pretty much she kind of fucked it all up. I'm not saying that in a sexist way. I think she kind of really messed it up. There was 2 guys before her. One of the guys that was before her was in the run with Samurai Jack, Powerpuff Girls, Dexter's Lab, and such, which is pretty much the golden age of, which was like all that stuff like Johnny Bravo, Johnny Quest, and things like that was under his run, and that was probably the best part. That was probably when Cartoon Network was really, really popular, because nearly every single show that was on in that run, with Dexter's Lab and Powerpuff Girls and so on and so forth, and also Justice League and Justice League Unlimited and all that stuff coming out through Cartoon Network as well. He was the most popular person in charge. But then somebody else took over, and then that was when, like, remember Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends and stuff like that? Basically... Yeah, so pretty much that run was actually not too bad. There were some good shows come out then, but then the person that runs it now, the person that took over, I'm pretty sure it's a woman now that took over, and this lady or whatever, and pretty much it's kind of gone to shit. It's kind of gone to a bit of the Cartoon Network's kind of gone a bit to shit since that person took over.
Yeah, I've never watched it.
Yeah,
I still mainly watch.
Sorry.
Pop is the channel now that airs Power Rangers and Tiny. I think Tiny Pop does MLP.
Yeah. Pop and Nickelodeon's got the license at the moment to air Power Rangers shows, but Pop seems to have acquired the stuff that's aired already on Nickelodeon.
Yeah. I think it was Power Rangers Samurai in 2011. That Samurai was the first series that Nickelodeon aired. So
yeah, that's right. Previous to that, it was Disney. And then after that,
it was. Yeah,
Kids and Jetix.
They got the Neo Saban era. Is what they call it now, because Saban bought the rights back from Disney.
Yeah. Well, Fox Kids and Jetix and pretty much was the first to wear like Mighty Morphin, pretty much all the Mighty Morphin run, and also I think he went up to Lost Galaxy. I think
up to Wild. He went up. Saban sold the rights to Disney midway through production of Wild Force. So I think Wild Force is technically the first Disney season, but Ninja Storm was the first full-on Disney season. But after Wild Force originally, after they had 10 seasons of Power Rangers, they were originally going to cancel it. Saban, everything Disney had bought from Saban, I think they planned to cancel and just air reruns to save money. But it's like Power Rangers got saved from cancellation when they had the idea to move production from Los Angeles to New Zealand, because it would be cheaper to
there's a bit. Yeah. Well, what I've been hearing, there's a bit of a thingy with the fan base with Saban. Pretty much, the fans wasn't happy about Disney taking over, I think, originally, and pretty much
no, they wouldn't.
Yeah,
because a lot of the things, a lot of fans kept with Power Rangers. I mean, there's still long-term fans now still watch it. People who grew up with Mighty Morphin. But what Saban did was they did attempt, while keeping it suitable to get new viewers in, obviously kids. They did grow the shop a bit with its storylines, which kept, I think, a lot of the older viewers watching it.
For me, the thing is, Saban produced probably the better. Well, I would say the golden years of Power Rangers, which was for me personally was, obviously Mighty Morphin, then Turbo. Even though Turbo's kind of the weaker of the Mighty Morphin era.
3 series of Mighty Morphin, and then Zeo. Then you had the Turbo movie, which was actually the Turbo movie was the beginning of the Turbo story, and then it went into the series. And then you had Power Rangers in Space, which is arguably a lot of people say that's their favorite.
It's a brilliant
Power Rangers in Space was good.
You got Lost Galaxy.
Yeah, and then Lost Galaxy, Lost Galaxy was also pretty good. Lightspeed Rescue. I liked Lightspeed Rescue. I liked it because of the concept change of the Ranger technology being man-made. But Time Force for me, Time Force was an excellent series.
Yeah, it is.
I love Time Force. Wild Force was good, but I don't think Wild Force had some dark plots in it, but I don't think it was as good as Time Force But that's probably with the whole switching production kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I grew up watching pretty much all the way up to Lost Galaxy, Power Rangers. No, up to Time Force.
Yeah.
I watched up to Time Force when I was a kid. But then after Time Force, when Disney took over, I kind of stopped watching it for a while. And then I kind of started watching a little bit of, I thought, you know what, I'll check out a bit of RPM. And
RPM. Well, a lot of people say RPM's the best Disney season. Disney went out well.
Well, it's personal opinion, but I remember, and I have watched.
Did you see SPD?
Yeah, I love SPD.
SPD is great.
SPD is probably my favourite Disney run.
Yeah.
So, I do, but no, sorry, no, I watched SPD when it first aired. I think I watched up to SPD. Sorry, but then after SPD, I kind of fell off it a little bit.
Mystic Force wasn't really that good.
I can't
Mystic
stand
Force was the series.
I
then Operation Overdrive. Oh. Operation Overdrive was bad.
Yeah. Seriously, the series I haven't watched is I've watched a little bit of Mystic Force, but I just don't like the idea of them all being monsters and one's a vampire and what the fuck. But yeah, I don't like Mystic Force. I love SPD.
Yeah.
But I don't, you know, there's, yeah, I think when I started picking it up again when Samurai aired, when when Saban bought the rights back. When Saban bought the rights back and they brought back the Mighty Morphin tune for Samurai, I was like, "Where they're back, babies, they're back!" And I was like, "Yay!" And then obviously, I mean, I'm actually quite. I mean, I like Samurai. I mean, some fans were a bit. It was okay, but I quite like Samurai.
I did. I like the fact that they brought Bulk back with Skull's son.
Yeah, I like that.
Which is clearly something to try and get older fans back. It's like with Dino Thunder, they brought Tommy back for the whole season.
I like Dino Thunder. I like Dino Thunder. That's another Disney one I like.
Yeah, Dino Thunder is good.
Actually, what's interesting about Dino Thunder essentially brings everything into canon.
It does, yeah.
Because
you have the Legacy of Power.
Yeah.
An episode where you see Tommy's video diary.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Yeah, so pretty much Tommy Oliver, and obviously he's a doctor or an archaeologist or something in it, and pretty much he pretty much explains to the the Dino Thunder Rangers, and he pretty much says to them that, it started with the Mighty Morphin, and then it's connected. And I thought, yeah, that actually makes a bit of sense, but I don't think it originally there was all connected. I don't think they originally thought about that originally, but the way that they did it is that there are alternate realities. Now they're talking about alternate reality. Every reality has their own Rangers. And essentially, Mighty Morphin is the original reality, the main reality we all know about, but all the other Rangers are from different time or different reality. But you can't really say that, because the Mighty Morphin run, if you think about it logically, the Mighty Morphin run runs from Mighty Morphin to Lost Galaxy. Why I say that is because from Mighty Morphin, Adam goes on to Turbo, and then and Tommy obviously becomes Turbo Red. So, and then pretty much except for Billy, except for Billy and the Yellow Ranger, the original Yellow, the one that took over from the last that passed away, the original Yellow Ranger. Those two left.
He passed away, and then you had Aisha, who left at the end of MMPR season 3, and then she was replaced by Tanya, who was the Yellow Zeo Ranger.
That's right.
Then the Yellow Turbo.
Yep. And then the last who took over, Kimberly, she went on to go to Turbo as well.
Catherine.
Yeah.
The Australian.
Yeah. And then when it went for Turbo to Zeo, Tommy.
No, Turbo to his place.
Yeah. But basically.
Yeah, the 4 original cast members left in the middle of Turbo. Because you know they had the kid, Justin.
Yeah.
They had the kid Blue Ranger, which I think has very mixed opinions on it.
Yeah.
Originally, for the first half of Turbo, all the original cast wanted to leave at the beginning, but they persuaded them to stay on for like 20 episodes so they could find replacements. And then that's when they found the 4 new Rangers. And obviously they kept Justin.
And they went on to
Space. His actor.
Yeah, and then they went on to Space. So pretty much from yeah.
I heard the original idea was that they weren't going to bring in the character of Andros, that the Red Space Ranger that they get kind of pulled into his ship. Originally, the concept for In Space was going to be very different. It was still going to have Justin in it as the Blue Ranger, and TJ would become the Red Ranger. But because they had to let Justin go at the end of the series, they had to change the concept. And I don't think they were going to bring in the character of Astronomer. I think Divatox was still going to be the main villain for that series.
Yeah.
Originally.
Yeah. Yeah, because...
But no, I mean, I did like Justin when I was a kid, because it was good. It was cool to have a kid be a ranger. But...
Yeah, it was interesting.
Now you just think, you know what, it really doesn't work.
It don't work now, though. It's a bad concept, but I know where they were going. I like where they were going. Is that, little kids watch this. What happens if we make a little kid a Power Ranger? But yet the concept doesn't really work as an idea. But
I think the idea originally came from Beetleborgs. I think that's where they got the idea to have a kid Power Ranger. Beetleborgs, the superheroes.
Yeah, but Beetleborgs didn't do very well either.
But I enjoyed it. I mean, I loved all the others. I loved all the side shows. I loved Masked Rider, Beetleborgs, VR Troopers. I love those as well.
VR. Yeah, I watched Master Rider, and it was like Beetleborgs. Like big bad Beetleborgs. Big bad Beetleborgs.
The thing is, there was a hell of a lot of stuff in the early 90s. A lot of stuff that came out independently as well of Saban that was trying to compete with Power Rangers. And some of it was just shit.
Yeah, well, what Saban did, you remember this series they did about Irish mythology, Mystic Knights of Tea and Nog?
Oh, yeah, I like that series. Quite enjoyable.
Yeah, that was the first series they made that didn't revolve around using Japanese footage, because they shot the entire series in Ireland, even though they did repaint a lot of the monster costumes from Power Rangers and the other shows. But they filmed the entire series in Ireland. But yeah, I enjoyed it, because that was one of the... Because I remember Fox Kids in 1998, when I'd come home from school, the after-school run. I think first you had Power Rangers, then Mystic Knights on Fox Kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are some stuff out there. And, what was that really bad one? Was it Tattooed Teenagers of Beverly Hills or something?
Yes, yeah. Oh, yeah, that was. There was the other one that the Subaraya Productions, one of Saban's companies produced. It was called Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, that was also derived from a Japanese series. I mean, I didn't mind that. Actually, the TF Nation this year, I think one of the stores near Nick did actually have some toys from that, but they were selling it all as a bundle. So I wanted to see if I could pick up one of the toys, but they were selling it as a bundle, so I didn't in the end. I found some VR Troopers stuff from Nick.
Yeah.
I had nearly all the Masked Rider figures when I was a kid. I had nearly all the Power Ranger stuff and all the Masked Rider stuff. I had a few VR Troopers figures, but the only toy I had from Beetleborgs was the Shadow Borg. You know that the story arc where they create like an evil Beetleborg, where they bring the white Beetleborg in.
Yeah.
That figure was the only toy I had from Beetleborgs. And I don't think I actually had anything of Mystic Knights, even though I did like the series.
I've got. I actually have all. I have all three of the Beetleborg vehicles. Oh no, I don't know.
Yeah, you found.
I haven't got the red one.
You found them at TF. You found them at TF Nation, not this year, but last year, didn't you?
Yeah, I haven't got the red one. That's the only one I haven't got. If I can get the red one, then I've got all of them.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I don't know if you want to call it a night, guys. We're half an hour of what we said.
I'm surprised just how much Saban did. Like, Saban also produced the 2 straight-to-video Casper sequels. One of them actually had the girl from Beetleborgs in it. The original actress who played Joe, Red Beetleborg, was in that one. A Spirited Beginning.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that. The second Casper film, that she actually had a load of Beetleborg figures of toys.
Also, I think some Beetleborg toys. Also, I think there's a scene where some of the Beetleborg toys appear as well in the kids' bedroom.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. She actually had toys around of Beetleborgs. But
yeah, but also the actress. The actress from Beetleborgs who originally played the Red Beetleborg was in that film as well.
Yeah, I remember.
And but also the Red Beetleborg, she got changed halfway through Beetleborgs.
Right. The thing is,
yeah, they changed the actress.
Yeah, you know the thing is about that film, it's never been released on DVD.
It has. I've got it. The Spirited Beginning. I've got DVD. I've got Casper.
I can't find it anywhere.
Well, I bought my copy about 12 odd years ago now from Woolworths. I got it for about 5. I've got the Casper the original movie, and I've got the Spirited Beginning and Casper Meets Wendy.
Yeah, I can't find it anywhere. Because whenever I've looked up Casper in like HMV, they only have the original movie. They don't have anything.
You should be able to find it online. Look on Amazon. You probably get it quite cheap as well if you look on Amazon.
I've looked on Amazon as well. They don't have it. It's really quite hard to find, unless it's out of print or it's like a licensing thing. That that the people that released it originally probably went out of business and it just died with them. I can't find it. I've been trying to find it because it's, even though it's not as good as the original film, I just want to get it because it's the 2 live actions in it.
Yeah.
So I've had the original for years, and I think it only cost me £5 when I got it originally. Because I had it on VHS when I was a kid. Because when it was released, it was on VHS. And then I rebought it.
Had Casper. Yeah, I had Casper on VHS, and I had Casper at the beginning, but I didn't get Casper. I never had Casper Meets Wendy on video. I waited till I could get it cheap on DVD. I think
I had the second Casper film on VHS, but I can't find it on DVD to save my life.
Casper, a Spirited Beginning.
There's a lot of stuff there's a lot of stuff you can't find. Some stuff because they never put it onto DVD or they never really released it in whole.
Yeah, it's available. It is available on Amazon, John. I've just looked it up. There's 5 new use and new offers. It's the 2004 DVD edition, which is £5.50. Also, there's a joint 2 with the second one and Casper Meets Wendy. I've checked on Amazon UK. It's on there.
Oh yeah, so it is. I can't for the life of me wonder why I've not seen it before. I've not found it. Sorry?
I watched that quite recently, actually, the second Casper film again.
I might get the two movie one because I've never heard of the Casper and Wendy one.
I've heard of it.
Yeah,
it's been very good.
Yeah, that's equally the weakest one. I mean, it's still got some funny bits in it. Do you remember the actress Hilary Duff? She used to be really famous. That was her first ever role.
Yeah, I remember Hilary Duff.
She was like my big childhood crush.
I remember watching the show she did on Disney. You know, the sitcom show she did. Yeah.
Lizzie McGuire.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to get some of the Addams Family stuff as well.
Yeah, I remember there was the new Addams Family TV series.
Mm.
So you still on Amazon now then?
I've now bought it. Thank you very much.
Pardon?
I've now bought it. I now bought it. Now I've got it now. Luckily, there was only one left. I bought the.
What have you bought?
The Casper Spirited Beginning with Casper and Wendy. I didn't realise there was a third live action. It's probably crap, but I just want to get them because they only made.
Yeah, the kid actor from Power Rangers, the Justin actor, he's in it as well. He's in that one. Also, I think the actress Kathy DeMonaray, who played the female villain in the first film, in the theatrical film with Eric Idle, she's in it as well. She plays one of the witches.
Oh, thanks for that, Lawrence. I honestly couldn't find it to save my life, that one. I've been looking everywhere for it.
Yeah.
I know it's not
all
as good
guys. No, but they're nostalgic.
Yeah, because like that came out, I think, 97, 98, the second film. So
the original film came out 1994, didn't it? I think
95, I think.
Yeah. Oh God, I used to get quite emotional when I used to watch Casper. It had some very sad scenes in it, and the music as well. I love that Casper theme, that slow theme.
Yeah, I do. I love the original because I love the original. I mean, I think it just works, doesn't it? It's just like I think Steven Spielberg was behind the production of the first one.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
I don't think he directed it. I think he was producer. But I do love it where they had a Ghostbuster appearance. They had
Who are you going to call? Someone else.
I kind of forgot Eric Idle was in it, you know. I watched it again.
Yeah, he plays the.
Yeah,
he plays the part of the woman who who's inherited the ghost house.
Yeah. Because I watched it again a couple of months ago. I just thought, I'll give it a watch again, and I was like, bloody hell, that's Eric Idle. How did I forget that? And I was like, it's freaking Eric Idle, you know, Wreck guy. I'd love to meet Eric Idle. I really want Eric Idle at TF Nation because he played Wreck guy.
Was he
Sorry?
Oh yeah, was he Wreck Garth in the movie? He was, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was the Wreck guy from the movie, but he was revoiced in the series. I think Frank Welker played him after that.
Yeah, I'd like to meet. Yeah, it would be good if we could get Eric Idle, but
Frank Welker, bloody hell, I think he ended up voicing about quite a few of the characters from after the movie, because obviously Leonard Nimoy voiced Galvatron in the movie, but Frank Welker ended up voicing him in season 3. But I think Frank Welker, he ended up playing a few more characters because in G1, bloody hell, he was playing loads of characters. Frank Welker, he played. I think he played Frenzy and Rumble. He played obviously Megatron. He played an Autobot as well, a couple of Autobots. He played mainly all Decepticons, really, but he did play a few other characters. And then obviously in the movie, it was Megatron and a few other ones that got killed and reformatted, but then they were revoiced for the movie afterwards, so it's Galvatron, etc. But then on season 3, he actually he came in to kind of revoice for Galvatron and a few others. But that's how awesome Frank Welker is. You know, he's just unreal.
He is quite a talented person. Well, beyond talent, really. He's just generally quite amazing.
I'm just going to say this one question very quickly before we call it a night, right? I'll say this to you first, Lawrence. If you can remember certain voice actors or certain characters, if you don't know the name of the actor, but the character from a Transformers series that you've watched, that you've not met yet, who would you like to meet? Or who would you like to meet at a future TF Nation?
Oh, it's a good one. I know that Tara Strong did some work for Transformers. So
yeah, she played the human character in animated.
She played Sari.
Yeah, I'd have to say I want to meet her.
I want to meet her. More than just one thing. She's hot.
Yeah, she's attractive.
She's hell. Have you seen her? Her and E.G. Daly.
Yeah.
I'm just like, holy crap. You are part of my childhood, but also you are part of my crush.
Yeah. When I was working at the Entertainer in Leicester, and people were asking me about TF Nation this year, and just, who did you meet? I said, well, they're mainly voice actors, and obviously we had Stan Bush, the concert, and the manager of the shop said to me, she said, Megan Fox wasn't there.
Fucking hell. Don't want her. Even though she's hot, but we don't want her.
I think when they asked us who would we like to have there that we've not had at the future conventions, and some people shouted Michael Bay.
How about you, Sam? What would you like to see that you've not met yet? That's been in Transformers. Without looking.
I would say Mark Hamill.
Yes. Very recently played, I think. Yeah, he was in the machine.
I just want to meet him because he's like, oh my gosh, you're Luke Skywalker and a Joker. Just, what you want to do. But Mark Hamill, definitely.
Didn't Tim Curry ever do Transformers?
Peter and Frank, I'd like to meet again.
Again, you never met them.
I'd like to meet them. Yeah, I'd like to meet them. Definitely like to meet them.
Is that it?
I want to see Gary Chalk and Scott McNeil again.
I'd like to meet them again.
Hmm.
I think for me...
I was going to say, didn't Tim...
Sorry?
What? Didn't Tim Curry do some work in Transformers?
He did a hell of a lot of. You know what? He was in an episode of Young Justice I watched last night.
Yeah.
I was like, I recognised that voice. I really recognised that voice, and it must have been season 2. Must have just been before he had that stroke, because he had a stroke and he's now wheelchair bound and he can't talk anymore. And he had a really bad stroke. Yeah, he had a really bad stroke a few years ago, but it must have been just before that, because, so yeah, Tim Curry. Yeah, he had a minor stroke in July 2012. So it was 2012 when he had the stroke, but it left him unable to talk properly and wheelchair bound.
Oh, damn.
Right, here we go. Tim Curry. Right, he was in Rescue Bots. He was in Transformers. He was in Transformers Rescue Bots, and he was in season 1 only. And he played Thaddeus Morocco, which is the bad guy, one of the bad guys in it. But yeah, I'd like to meet. For the who I've not met yet, I'd love to meet Rob Paulson. I believe Rob Paulson has been his voice in a Transformer, or been in Transformers at least. Kevin Michael Richardson, he played Bulkhead in Prime. I'd like to meet Tara Strong, obviously. I'd obviously like to meet Troy Baker. Troy Baker was in Transformers Prime. He played the Wolf guy. Not Transformers Prime. Robots in Disguise, sorry. I'd like to meet Will Friedle. Who was Batman Beyond or Batman of the Future. He voiced Bumblebee in Robots in Disguise, the new series. Frank Welker, obviously Peter Cullen. I'd like to meet the last who did RC, original RC, Sue Blue. I'd like to meet Sue Blue. I'm going to kick myself in the head for forgetting later. Who else? Transformers. The guy who played SpongeBob.
Tom Kenny.
Tom Kenny. Tom Kenny. Yeah. Yeah. He played Transformers animated Starscream. And I love him because he was very close to Chris Latta.
Yeah.
I'd like to meet Michael Dobson as well, because he played Starscream in the animated in the Unicron trilogy, and he's a very good Starscream as well. I loved him in Armada, and I liked him in Cybertron. Starscream, he was my favourite character in those two series. It gave a side to Starscream that you'd never seen before, because he died. He gets killed in Cybertron by Unicron. Unicron kills him with like this energy beam, but it was really, really quite touching, because he actually gets one of the human girl, like there's 3 humans in Cybertron, and the female human character he gets attached to, and he talks to her, and it's almost as if he's going to become good. They're going to make him an Autobot, but he still messes up, and he still does stuff that's kind of questionable. And then pretty much he tries to save the life of Optimus or Megatron by he pretty much goes he challenges Unicron on his own. He pretty much powers up and he does this big cannon blast to Unicron, but it's like nothing to Unicron, and Unicron just kills him outright. And it actually for the first time, Galvatron and Optimus literally stand there and. I think Galvatron, I think it is in Cybertron, he literally just stands there and goes, Starscream was a fool, but my God, was he brave. And I thought, fucking hell, that says everything for Galvatron to say that to Starscream. But he literally, I loved it because it gave a perspective of Starscream you've never seen before. And I loved that perspective that he was a Decepticon, he did horrible things, he did stupid stuff, but he had a heart. He did have a soft spot, and yeah, I quite liked that version. But I'd love to meet Michael Dobson. And guess what? Michael Dobson liked one of my drawings on Twitter. He commented saying great artwork. I'm like, fuck yes. Anyway, so yeah, that's that. I'm just going to say that for now. But anyway, so let's call it a night. We're like pretty much nearly going on for an hour.
Right. Yeah, well, it's been a great stream. It's been really fun tonight.
Oh, yeah, it has, definitely.
I just want to say before we go,
right.
that's what my NES Classic has just shipped. It's now on its way to me. So, awesome. Even though I don't know whether I should put it away if I can't touch it, or just touch it once and try it works and see if it works, and then just put it away and then wait till Christmas, or just try and be very, very, very patient, and I am not a patient person. But anyway, so let's go.
All right. Well, I'd say thanks to my two friends, guests, Knowlsy and Sam, Mr. 000firestorm89, and it's been awesome tonight. So
Sam eventually joined us after about an hour of being live. And then he comes on saying that his excuse was I've been playing Skyrim, and I thought, well, that's not an excuse. I'm joking.
Well, it has been great to catch up again, guys, as always. It has. And Lawrence, well done on that.
All right, then.
It was a good mix. I enjoyed it. I look forward to hearing more.
Thanks.
Yeah, keep at it.
Well, you never know. You might get to become a Brony musician on YouTube and get invited to a BronyCon.
That'd be nice. That'd be nice. Maybe that'd be nice, and be a guest and have a drink with Tara Strong. That'd be really nice. That would.
Just really, really quickly, I was going to mention this earlier, but I completely forgot until now. Really quickly, guess what? Right, to Sam, this is specifically. I don't know if you know of him, Lawrence, but on YouTube, there's an online musician that does anime and also video games and his own stuff called Nathan Sharp, or Nate Wants to Battle. He goes by. Sam knows who he is. And Sam knows that I've been watching an anime on Netflix called Beyblade Burst, and it's season 1 of it. They've just released the opening song for Beyblade Burst Fury.
Is it?
Beyblade Burst Fury's the season 3 opening, right? I've listened to it already, and I thought, this sounds fucking brilliant. Then he uploaded 2 days ago an announcement. He did the track. So Nate Wants to Battle is now an established musician that's actually been in an official opening for an anime.
Awesome.
And, it's the English official anyway. But it's absolutely awesome. Check it out, Sam. It's Beyblade Burst Fury. No, sorry, Turbo. Turbo, I think it is. Fury or Turbo, one of those two. And literally, it's 1 minute 40 something the track, and it's absolutely awesome. It really is good. But anyway, so that's all I'm going to say. So thanks for the invite, Lawrence, and we'll bid you farewell for now.
Okay, see you guys very soon. Thanks everyone who's watched, because we have had a few viewers. So we'll see you all very soon.
Take care, mate.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Take care.